numbers. We just saw he has more points in this tournament than any Canadian ever. And as he pointed out, he could play 2 more times. He will not. And the whole thing about art, of course, I've got votes, and I've got that rush, whatever he wants. And there he is. Because you know Czechia.
What's going on, everybody? John out here with you. I'm getting set for the World Junior Final between Czechia and Canada. So this is going to be on Twitter Spaces. This is also going to be on YouTube. So if you want clear audio from me, you can follow at John Reinot. So let me give you the particulars here as far as the starting lineup, and then we'll go forward everywhere else. So this is going to be left to right wing and then defense like it was yesterday, and then left to right wing and defense for both teams. So for Czechia, it sounds like this: Jiri Kulich, Matislav Spolzel, Edward Saleh, Gabriel Sturridge, Jacob Barabanek, Jaroslav Šimlar, Jakub Kos, Matthias Mensik, Martin Rasavi, Adam Machura, Marcel, and Peter Hauser. On defense, it's going to be Juraj Tiacek, David Jurek, Stanislav Svozil, David Spacek, Tomas Samara, and David Moranek. And for goal, it's going to be Tomas Suchanek in net for the Czechs. So that was every single time 1-3 on both sides. So for Canada, it's going to sound like this, starting with line number 1, Brennan Othmann, Shane Wright, Dylan Guenther, Joshua Wall, Logan Stankoven, Connor Bedard, Zach Dean, Nathan Gaucher, Adam Fantilli, Colton Dach, Caedan Bankier, and Zack Ostapchuk. On defense, it'll be Ethan Del Mastro and Olen Zellweger, Tyson Hinds and Brandt Clarke, Kevin Korchinski, and Nolan Allan, and Thomas Milic will be in goal for Canada. So Tomas and Thomas. Tomas Suchanek and Thomas Milic will be in net. So the way that it stands tonight, and I'll let this go on the recorder side, and you're hearing this on Twitter Spaces, this is going to be the gold medal game. Whatever happens, somebody's going to walk away with the silver if they lose. It could be Czechia. It could be Canada. Now, I mentioned this a few times when we did some of these broadcasts. This is about my 6th World Juniors broadcast, coming from the summertime into now altogether. And in this sense, I looked at it from the summertime and I thought, geez, Czechia could be one of those teams that could absolutely be a dark horse to win this tournament. Now they won Group A. Now they have a chance to play Canada to win a gold medal. In the first game in the preliminaries, Canada was knocked out by Czechia 5-2. Connor Bedard attempted a Michigan. There was also another Michigan. And I'm not getting back on that bandwagon saying any of those shots are bad shots, because I never did. But what I did expect in that first preliminary is what I thought we would see from Canada. Go ahead and try to win the game outright like the OK Corral and score goals. And that was that situation that it looked like. It ended up being a 5-2 win for Czechia. Now they get to meet again, since the first preliminaries at the very end of 2022 and on to 2023. It's January 5th. It's the final day of the World Juniors. This is going to be a completely different team. The Canada team that we saw yesterday against the United States was the buzzsaw activated at the highest level possible. They played their best game throughout the entire tournament. If they do that again right now, Czechia is going to claim the silver. I'm just going to leave it like that. Too much firepower. And if Thomas Milic, he was the MVP of that game yesterday. If he ends up getting another 45 save plus, I don't think he's going to need to. But if he locks in with a 950 save percentage, somewhere thereabouts that he was, this is going to be Canada's to take home. So it doesn't matter if you lose in the preliminaries or not. It's about what you do right now. It's win or go home. It's for the gold medal. Canada has an opportunity to take it. Being honest with everybody, Canada also hasn't had the greatest run in this tournament. You can say, John, they only lost one game, and that's factually correct. But they had the loss against Czechia. They had a couple overtime, couple squeakers there. Connor Bedard against Slovakia. It's been very close. Sometimes it's been kind of ugly as far as the Canadian fans are concerned. I think that they would say that they haven't always played as the best team. For Czechia on the other side, it's as simple as this. They're big, they're physical, between David Jurek, Spacek, and David Moranek, the 3 Davids. And then you have Stanislav Svozil. 3 of those guys are Columbus Blue Jackets products. And they can definitely get the job done as far as the defensive side. Can Czechia outscore everybody else? No, they cannot. But also, when you look at the bronze medal game today, I was telling Cooper Hawkins, and we had some fun on the Twitter side. He was saying, "What do you expect? This is a 2-1, a 3-2 structured kind of game. In less than 24 hours, you have to go from maybe winning a medal to getting to the bronze." In the U.S. side, it ended up being an 8-7 game and an overtime win for the United States. So you could expect the unexpected, but this should not be an 8-7 game. This should be a game that'll be a little more structured. Maybe Canada wins by 3. I think that they come out and they show Czechia what they're made of. That first preliminary game seems like so long ago. I still expect Czechia to give a hell of a fight. They've not lost a game in this tournament. So I need to give them the same amount of respect. They're a great team. But I think Canada is going to know what's at stake. They want to avenge that loss. The gold medal's right there. I think that they'll end up taking it. That's just me. Those are my thoughts and the preamble before the game gets started. And when it does, we'll get right back in there with the recording. I appreciate you guys. We're going to be following along on the Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side here momentarily. I think we're going to be about 5 minutes or so from puck drop. And there's already a couple votes here and there. I said the WJC final, does Canada win the gold medal tonight? 2 votes. One say yes, one say no. And I think that that should be pretty close. I think Canada might end up taking this one, but between the way that Czechia has looked throughout the entire tournament, and I'll go through right now. I have the tree in front of me, so I'll update this in my notes, and I'll pull this up right now. So let's look at the rosters in the tree while we're waiting for this game to start. And let me scroll down a little bit. I got all the rosters in there on that side. So it started on December 26th. It was a 5-2 win for Czechia. We covered that game in the first round of the preliminaries. The next game ended up being on December 28th. It was Canada disposing of Germany 11-2. Czechia got a 9-0 win the day before on the 27th against Austria. So Czechia is still undefeated in the tournament. And then it got to the point where Czechia took their first loss. They lost 3-2 in overtime against Sweden. So they still got a point out of that result, which was big because they had lost another game in the tournament that allowed them to take Group A. Canada got a drubbing 11-0 over Austria. Czechia won 8-1 against Germany on New Year's Eve. Canada followed with a 5-1 win over Sweden. As we got into the quarterfinals, it was Czechia all over Switzerland 9-1. Canada then responded with a 4-3 win against Slovakia in overtime when Connor Bedard played the hero. Scored off the backhand, beat 3 defenders to get to the ice, and then put a backhand on net and roof it. Canada then just won against the United States. We covered that game, the story and broadcast on yesterday, and it was a comeback win. Sweden got the one in the preliminary. They did not get the one in the semifinal. They were up 1-0 in the final minute was Sweden, but Czechia came back. They scored a goal from the slap shot from the point and then finished it off in the 3-on-3 overtime, late into that overtime before it went into the shootout. Today, in the bronze medal game, and I'll go ahead and I'll update my notes right now as far as what happened. It was a wild one. Again, I wasn't able to watch the entire game because I wanted to make sure I got the adequate sleep after having a late night and all of that stuff. When I started watching this third period, it was a 6-6 game between the United States and Sweden. It ended up being an 8-7 win in overtime for the Stars and Stripes. So they did claim bronze. It was a better result for them than it was last August in 2022. It feels foreign to say last year, but that's what it was. It was a better result for them then. They got bronze. And now in this gold medal game, it's going to be Canada versus Czechia. Czechia won Group A. Canada only lost it by a point there with that regulation loss. So what's going to end up happening here is the United States have already claimed bronze. Whoever loses this game will get silver. Whoever wins this game will get the gold. Puck drop was slated for 6:30 Eastern. It's about 2.5 minutes away now. It's about 6:40. We're going to go ahead and drop the puck here and for this final. I don't expect Cooper Hopkins to join me here for this final game, so I'm going to be riding solo. If he does, he can go ahead and leave a message, and I'll get him right in. He was a real trooper yesterday and working with a little bit of the stream. I have the actual NHL Network channel. I'm able to watch this from the Detroit, Michigan side. He did not. I didn't have access to it. Even on the TSN feed, there was like a box in the middle of the stream. I don't have that as I have the channel in front of me, but we're able to make that broadcast work yesterday. And I'm glad to have all of you guys in there now. So if you do want to get streams and everything else, you can follow along the IIHF World Junior, some of these other fake accounts. You will be able to watch the game. It'll probably be a minute behind mine, but there will be a big box in front of you. But for me, you're just going to get my ugly face here with the 4 eyes, but I will give you the full play-by-play of this as it goes along. So that's going to be my responsibility to give you the full play-by-play. I won't have as many name call-outs for Czechia, although I do have all of the rosters and everything else in front of me to get everything squared away, unlike before when we started in the preliminaries when there wasn't anything to go. I'm using the livesport.com box for the lines. You can follow along there as far as your scoring updates and official stats. I'm going to have the complete game coverage at hopelessportsguide.wordpress.com. I'll put that in the chat box as we go along. This should be a really excellent game. Again, I would say maybe at most Canada might win by 3. I don't think it's going to be much more than that. I do think that they're going to have a better showing against Czechia after losing in the preliminary rounds. But I do give Czechia my full respects. I told you from the very beginning of it, they're going to be the dark horse that I think that could win this tournament. And I don't think any of my thoughts are going to end up changing as far as that's concerned. That's just me. So I'm expecting a great game. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll begin the play-by-play momentarily. So Thomas Milic is going to start for Canada. 4-0 record, 175 goals against, 934 save percentage. And Tomas Suchanek will be on the other side for Czechia. 5-1 record, 130 goals against, 938 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Dennis Williams going to be the head coach here for Canada. And on the other side for Team Czechia, it's going to be Radim Rulik. He's the Czechian head coach. From what I can tell you, from doing a few of these WJC games now and getting everything else clarified from yesterday, I'll put this on the broadcast before we get to the puck drop. If there is goaltender interference, whether accidental or incidental, and it brushes in the way of the goalie to try to make the save before the puck crosses the red line, it's going to be waved off. That's how it is in WJCs. We found that out very astutely in the USA-Canada game, but it doesn't matter anyway. Canada gave up a full buzzsaw to the United States to get to this point, and full marks to them. But I'm going to be very curious with these 4 eyes to see whether or not we're going to get to that same level of anticipation as far as when we get to a goaltender brushing. So we'll leave it like that. So it's immediate face-off win for Shane Wright, and we are underway. Czechia able to get the steal. They're going to be going right to left across this period. They're in the red shirts with the white shoulders. Canada in the all white with the red leaf and brazened in the middle. As we got our rosters and everything else in front of us, Canada will put this down in deep as this goes back to Tomas Suchanek, the Czechian goaltender. Going to put this across the red line now, looking for a back pass, trying to gain entry. And now Canada will able to intercept this Connor Bedard. We'll put this in toward the right side of red line. Canada still keeps this on the left side blue line as they'll rattle around the kick plate one more time. 19 minutes left to go in this first period as we're really just getting underway. This is the gold medal final, and this is the last game of the WJCs of the 2023 tournament. It's been a lot of fun to cover this as we go along. David Urich in between Spacek, and the shot goes wide. Another opportunity there for Fantilli, and that one gets blocked. That's been a good defensive game so far. Gabriel Sturridge will try to get this in deep as this goes back in between Joshua Waugh toward the right side wall. Czechia can't find it. Canada able to enter through the neutral zone. Connor Bedard with the toe drag ahead and a shot through 5-hole. But that goes across the left side wall as bodies are colliding everywhere near the players' bench. Czechia just trying to find it. And now Canada will get this across as this hits off the embankment. Another big hit there delivered by Joshua Waugh as we get a stoppage, and Canada might be going to the box. So Nathan Gaucher was the one that delivered the hit at the 18-15 marker, and immediately Canada going on the penalty kill. So Czechia will be on the power play. It's going to be a 2-minute minor for interference. It was a meeting against the wall, and Gabriel Sturridge got blasted against the boards, got hit pretty good. Didn't leave his feet, though. But it's going to be a power play upcoming here for Czechia as we're really just underway. So give me your thoughts, concerns in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about the WJC tournament. I think it's been very competitive all the way across the board, with the exception of like Austria and Germany. Pretty much all these other teams were beating everybody, and it was a lot of fun throughout the whole thing. And what are your thoughts on this final game? Czechia wins the draw, but Canada able to clear it out as it touches the goal stick of Tomas Suhanek. Suhanek going to leave it to the defense now. Toward the right side dot, it's going to be a drop pass as this is picked up by Edward Sale. Sale will gain the entry here for Czechia. Try to get across the left side wall, and a shot's going to get flipped toward the right side dot as Czechia just trying to keep positioning here and keep this in there as Marcel makes the pass back. Yes, that is his name, as this is slap shotted, picked up by Sale. And toward the blue line side, Czechia will hold. Be patient. Give it back to Edward Sale. Going to fire to the screen and get blocked again. But it stays in the zone between David Jurek as he tried to bank this off of the right wall. But now this is back near the right side dot, cleaned up by the Canadian defense, and Ethan Del Mastro will get a long clear as it touches the goal stick of Suhanek one more time. So 1 minute left to go on the power play here for the Czechs. It's 1-0 in favor of Canada. 17-10 left to go in the opening frame. As this clear is momentarily cleared out through the red line side across the IIHF logo. Picked up here, Sturridge. We'll get this pass across to Jurek. Jurek will find the entry as with Stanislav Sposal. Sposal shoot a short side shot. Big rebound. Milic will fight it off. Canada can't hold it, though, so this goes back to Czechia. Spot check. Sposal with the shot. It's loose toward the left dot, and this one goes wide as this is picked up by Spot check. And now, moving around. Avidas will put it out front for Sturts. This goes off the knob of the stick of Thomas Milic, but it's not out. And now it finally is. Jurek's going to be by himself, but this will go down to Suhanek. We'll play this, right the spot check, and they'll go to the defensive partner of Stanislav Sposal. Have to spin around in his own net as his forwards get the change. Canada has successfully killed the penalty. 1 shot apiece now. 16-10 left to go in the first. So this is picked up here by Kos. Kos will try to dump it down. And Canada will get this down the ice. Be a race for the puck. It's going to be a hybrid icing against the Canadians, so they cannot change with 16:05 left to go in the first. So good blocking there a couple of times as that went off the leg of one of the forwards of Canada. Let me see if I can get a number on that one. That was the defense, Tyson Hinds, that blocked one of the shots from spot check with the left leg. So I know that one's going to hurt a little bit. Brandt Clarke also out there as well on defense now as this goes back to Shane Wright. He wins the draw clean and has a chance for Logan Stankoven now. He's going to actually had to get forwarded with the help of Adam Fantilli as one of the Czechian players gets knocked down again. And this is picked up now near the right side dot. What's going on, Nick? How are you doing on that side for the Twitter spaces? And the scoop will bounce in and out. Picked up by Jacob Kos. Kos toward the right side wall now and behind the net of Milic. Toward the right side dot. Czechia can't hold it, but it goes back to the 2D that are back into the neutral zone. As this is dumped in by David Spacek. Milic will look toward the right side dot. As this trying to get picked up here by Canada. And now they'll take this as Zack will get this across. Fantilli had it knocked away from him. And now Czechia will find this in their own defensive zone. Try to get this across the red line, but it bounces in the player's bench where it can do so safely. 15-14 left in the first. You look at Dennis Williams. I have the TSN feed. I know we're broadcasting things from NHL Network, but NHL Network only does their own coverage on the side when USA plays. Everything else carries the TSN feed. So that's what I have. And like I told you guys on the YouTube side, if you want to go ahead and get some other feeds and things like that, it's one of those situations where you'll probably be a minute behind. You have a box in front of you. Grayson says, I bet the Czech Republic plus 2.5 goals. I'm hoping for a competitive game. I think you're going to be riding that line, Grayson. I don't think Canada is going to win by more than 3. So I think that's a pretty good bet on your side. Czechia does like to play a good defensive game. But hell, I said that against USA and Sweden. That turned out being an 8-7 in the bronze. You never know what you'd get in less than 24 hours. But I think it's a pretty good bet. As this goes back now for the Canadian defense. Got about 14:45 left to go in this scoreless first right now. A little bit of a feeling out process between these two squads. Again, the gold medal is on the line. The loser gets the silver no matter what. The United States have already claimed bronze earlier today with an 8-7 win in overtime. Picked up now across the left side wall. Schaefer gets knocked down. Canada and the Halifax crowd, they want a penalty call. Remember, the tickets for the USA-Canada game were $6,000. I wonder if there are more in this gold medal game right now for some of those seats. Spot check. We'll get this cleared down with the help of David Urich as Thomas Milic will play it quickly. He's got to get back into his net, though, as this goes back now here for Dean. Dean will get this one, but it gets intercepted across the players' bench, and it's going to be picked up by Canada one more time. As Clarke will get a soft dump in toward the right side of the red line. A little flutterer there as Schaefer able to knock it down. And Czechia trying to break out. Nice pass, banked across the right wall, but it goes into the players' bench again. 13:45 left to go in the first. We are scoreless, one shot apiece. Come right back. We'll call more of the action in a moment. When we get in toward the intermission, I will update you as far as some of the other goals and stuff that are going to be scored, and I'll give you a look around the league in the NHL as well. We have a loaded slate of NHL games. A lot of them are going to begin at 7 p.m. Only a handful of late games toward the end of it, but a loaded slate of scores that I should be able to start bringing to you after the first period once this is done.
Always inviting. But it's here we check in Canada for the goal. Czechs are about half a minute away from not even being here. 38 seconds left here.
So they're showing the highlights there for Czechia just to be able to get into this gold medal game, and that was a hell of a goal there for Yuri Kulich. So face-off upcoming in the neutral zone. 13:45 left to go in this scoreless first. They took the shot off the board there for Czechia, so instead of 1-1, it's 1-0 on the shot board. Still scoreless with 13:40 left to go in this first. Whoever wins this is going to claim the gold medal. At Halifax right now watching this game on TSN. I'm watching it on NHL Network here in the TSN feed. Be able to give this one to you today. This is the last game of the WJCs. It's been a lot of fun to cover all this. As the puck goes up into the crowd, and we'll do it again with 13:27 left to go in the first. So again, give me your thoughts, concerns, everything else on this game. Let me know how you feel about the WJC tournament. It's been pretty good all the way across the board. I'm looking forward to it again when it gets to this point. But I'm going to have to wait all the way till December again of 2023 because the summer tournament was the COVID pause tournament where it's not normally played at that time. So a neutral zone face-off win. Zack Ostapchuk with help of Zellweger will get this one down the ice. As Czechia. David Spacek trying to find it now. Othmann will play this back pass as this will go D to D. And now this will be fired by Zellweger, but that one goes high of the right side post. Othmann will spin this one around, and that goes right of the right side wall as Zellweger tries to find it. Czechia just still trying to get it out right now as they'll chop at it. It takes a friendly Canadian bounce and toward the right side dot. And now Spacek can get it out of a jumping pass, centered. And this was tied up between one of the Canadians and Czechia. It's going to allow Yuri Kulich to race down the left side wall. He's going to fire a short side shot. It goes off the shaft and stick of Thomas Milic. 12:35 left to go in this first. That should count as a shot on the shot board as Tyson Hinds has it now. Hinds trying to get out of his own end. This is kept across the blue line. Spacek going to let one go, and this is picked up now by the Canadians. in their own end as they'll have a short little chat with Thomas Milic. And they're going to let everybody go ahead and take a change right now. 12-10 left to go in the scoreless first. The shots are 1-1. Very defensive style game here for this gold medal on the line. Brandt Clarke finds the entry with the toe drag. The defenseman made a great move. Czechia giving too much space to get in there, quite frankly. Now near the left side of the red line, Logan Stankoven. And we're going to pass out to D. Going to let one fly off the right side of the wall. And another penalty's wanted to be called there by the Canadian crowd as they're up in arms with any kind of body contact at this point. But honestly, I don't know why. Even though it's all Canadian fans, it's very nothing going on right now with one shot apiece and no goals. So nothing to be too excited about as far as what I'm concerned in Sim, but still that's the way it is. As this is dumped across the red line. Czechia has to go back with Morvanik to go ahead and find it. Canada, we'll get to it. And Shane Wright will try to center. As this goes back to Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard holds that blue line. He straddled it toward the late end. I heard a whistle before this goal was given there for Connor Bedard. I think he might have dragged his feet across that blue line, and the puck went out of the zone. It did go in, but I don't think it went in after the puck was out of the zone. The whistle blew before the goal ever went into the net. But we'll have to take another look at it. So Bedard is going to straddle this blue line, and toward the very last second of it, his long shot will go in, and the next handle, that puck is out. That puck is out by 1.5 inches off of the toe drag handle for Connor Bedard. He was stuck right on top of that blue line, so that goal is not going to count. And Connor Bedard would have been the hero already because he would have scored the first goal, but he just dragged it off sides, and he was very close to that blue line anyway, about 1.5 feet. As this is picked up, Adam Fantilli will toe drag against the wall, try to go ahead and get that stick lift and get it back, but this gets picked up here by Czechia now. Sturts gets a steal, fires it off the left crossbar, and Sturts falls into the net with Thomas Milic, and that would have counted for sure if it was just a fraction to the right. Ethan Del Mastro. Now Hinds will get back to go ahead and pick this one up. It was the closest call now, even more so than Bedard's last attempt. Canada will take their entry here as Hinds will take his time. We'll get this across the red line. It's a race for the puck, but Stankoven can't get to it. And another big hit there delivered by Czechia. But this is kept in now. Thomas Mahura able to knock it away. And Marcel will get this one down. But it's icing. 10:06 left to go in the first. This game's starting to get a little spicy as far as some of these hits, but these opportunities have been few and far between, as we just said. But a minute ago was Connor Bedard, who was stuck right on the edge of the blue line and pushed up just like that, just a little bit on the other side, and then it was a chance for Stritch, who fired it just up the left side of the crossbar before we went into a offensive zone draw here for Canada. They'll win this one clean. It's about 10 minutes left to go in the first, and now Czechia will try to get this across the left side wall. The puck got deflected off the glass, lost touch off the stick, so we'll do it again. 9:59 left to go in the first, but not before we go to an ice break. Come right back. We're scoreless. Not a lot of shots either.
The average person can't push out the pain it takes to be great. This is the moment you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do what?
I appreciate you guys moving in and out between the Twitter Spaces side and between the YouTube side. Again, I'm going to give you the full play-by-play nonetheless, no matter what happens. There are some streams that you can pick up as far as you want to watch the game, but you will be begrudging to having a box in the middle of your screen. But you can find those plenty. But if you want to get the full play-by-play from me, and you already have the feed and everything else in front of you, that's what I'll be able to provide. Complete Game Story is going to, I'll put this in the link right now for where the Complete Game Story is going to be. That's where it's always going to be at the blog.
Poshmark is a perfect side hustle. There's so much I can sell. Bags, clothes, and even electronics. It's so easy. I can list in 60 seconds for
So hopelesssportsguide.wordpress.com. That's where all the stories will be. It's been a 1-year anniversary now for the site and the blog side. We're able to do A little bit of coverage of everything, whether it's NBA, NHL, World Juniors, college, Major League Baseball. The only thing I really don't do play-by-play on is NFL because I just don't know enough on that side. But cover a little bit of everything, and I always take the broadcast on this side and put it right in there for you. So as we check back in, it's about 9:50 left to go in the first. Great drop pass. This one gets blocked. It's an open net, and Milic wouldn't have been able to recover. But Czechia couldn't get to the puck in time. They have it now near the left side dot. As this gets knocked away from Moravik at the last moment and takes a friendly carom into the left side wall. Czechia still trying to collect. Sturridge can't find it. Canada now has an opportunity. It's a 3-on-2 developing. Othmann holding on to that line, looking for a deflection against Tomas Sahanek, and this one gets knocked away. As Czechia will pick it up. Shots are now 2-1. Big time hit delivered by Othmann, and the crowd loves it. And now more contact toward the right side, and the crowd wants a penalty. And now the refs are coming over just to make sure. I think Canada may be going on a power play. Stanislav, let me make sure that I get this name correct on this side. Matthias Sopolev, the first line center here for Czechia. It's Juracek who's going to go off. David Juracek, the defense. So David Juracek got stuck with a hold, but Matthias Sopolev was able to deliver a little bit of a hip check there on Othmann a little bit after the play. Didn't know who was going to go off, but it is David Juracek. And he is the Columbus Blue Jackets product. He's one of the better ones that there is on the team. So that is a big-time loss to be able to get a shutdown D-man. This could be a big-time opportunity for Canada. Connor Bedard, insert name here on this side of it. You would think he's going to probably get another goal on that side. He's been the hero. Why not ask him to do a little bit more, fair or unfair? As this will try to get picked up by Shane right up the face-off one. He can't win this one. He's been pretty good so far. I think he's got 3 in the last 4. And that was the first loss. As this is picked up now by Olen Zellweger. So we'll see if Dennis Williams is going to elect to go for the 4 forwards, 1 D-man approach. Connor Bedard. Make the pass across, get it back there, Othmann. Bedard did a flyby across the net, but he's out of range right now on the screen. Into the high slot, shot goes just wide of the left wall. As this is picked up by Canada, kept it across the blue line side. Bedard make the pass across near the right circle. In the high slot, shot, rebound. And that one goes wide. The first one was an easy stop for Sahanek with the stick. One of the Czechian players lost their stick. It's toward the left side of the faceoff dot. Bedard will get this one. Now Allan will hold. Zellweger will drop it off now for Allan. As though crisscross. Winds and shoots, and this one's going to get blocked as well. And then cleared down to the ice. Long outlet pass for Milic as he met it about between the circles. And now this goes back into the zone for Tomas Sahanek. Czechia got to play this quickly. They turn it over. Adam Fantilli now with the help of Othmann. Othmann will get this one back. Connor Bedard going to walk in. He's between the circles, holding up the toe drag. This is a setup for Fantilli, and that one got blocked by Czechia. Fantilli gets it now, holding in between the circles. A little bit of miscommunication, but Connor Bedard will get to it. He's in the high slot, trying to get around one man. Toe dragging patiently, makes an open pass near the left side dot. Joshua Waugh, now Brandt Clarke, has it as he plays the embankment pass off the right wall. Canada trying to still get settled as they take a long wrist shot, but that one gets blocked before it ever hits Sahanek. Canada with the puck possession, though, on this power play. Clarke set up the one-timer, scores! Canada gets on the board first. It was a very patient power play, and it turned into pay dirt. 1-0 Canadians. And that goal is going to be claimed by Dylan Guenther. He gets Canada on the board first. A one-timer setup after some patient puck movement, and one of the situations where a diving poke check by Brennan Othmann able to keep it in the zone. And when Guenther got another opportunity to fire, he didn't miss on the second one. A beautiful one-time in between the dot, above the shoulder of Tomas Sahanek on the left side post, and it's a 1-0 lead for Team Canada. Again, this was a situation where it was 2 shots to 1, and then the power play, David Urich takes it, and they give up 1. So Canada has been getting a lot of shots on their power play of recent. You notice that in that game yesterday against the Americans, where they started in a 9-0 shot deficit against the Stars and Stripes and then had 7 on their first power play. They were patient, they got their shots, they moved it around, and they scored the goal. So Canada, we'll see if that one wakes them up. Certainly it's going to have to wake up Czechia here. I think they'd be happy with a silver medal, but you got a lot more on the line. Marcel going to fire this one on, and this goes off the left pad of Milic as this one gets knocked away and now picked up by the defense of Canada as this goes between Olen and Zellweger. He's still able to gain the entry and now finally overskates it. And this one gets cleared down the ice. It's going to be an icing against Czechia, so they cannot change. They've just given up a goal. 6:29 left to go in the first. Another look at it. It was a great save in the zone by a diving play of Brennan Othmann for Canada just to keep it toward the right side wall. Guenther had it on the left dot just before the dot in between the circle, fired it on the left shoulder of Sahanic above and in to give Canada the lead. Again, it's one of those situations, and I know it's the easy thing to say, you cannot allow Canada to get on the power play. They're very dangerous. Bedard will pick this up off the face-off one. And now the pass gets picked off. Now, Chappella trying to get this one in Truick, and this one gets knocked away. As Canada will flutter this one down the right side wall. Czechia will pick it up as this goes back to Yuri Kulich. And this pass was a little fortunate. He's able to race across the right side wall with Sopovalov. Kulich out there as well. Still trying to get to it. And this is a beautiful bank ahead back pass. Bedard across the left wall. He tried to get rid of it quickly before it turned into a worse turnover. But now pick up to the neutral zone. Sopovalov. Great setup! And that one got blocked before it hit Milic, and in the rebound went into catching block. It was a nice toe drag ahead by Sopovalov. He could have been one-on-one with the goalie, but a great block in the end by Brandt Clarke stopped Milic. Have to make that first save. Come right back. It's a 1-0 lead for Canada.
Mary, check this out. With on Dach, we can get a small business on fast and start hiring more help right away. Or Logan.
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. On Dach, the online lender that makes it easy to choose your loan and if approved, get funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on Dach.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then become alive. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
Canada leads 1-0. Coming to this game knowing that both boys can be very tough to beat. Tom Zahanic played every minute of every game. Best save percentage, 1.3. Thomas Milic emerges as we play the semifinals as we give Canada the confidence that our goaltender gives us every minute we get a chance to win as theirs, if not better. Which is the feeling they were looking for to start the tournament.
Through 2 NHL drafts, plays for Seattle.
5:45 left to go in this first. It's a 1-0 lead for Canada. It was a very tight start to this game. It ended up opening up a little bit once David Urich went to the box on a tripping call, and it gave Canada the power play, which they ended up scoring on. So it was a goal, as you want to get across for Dylan Guenther, and I will update this in my box as we get in toward the first intermission. The game story and everything else, hopefulsportsguy.wordpress.com. I'll be a little sad because this will be the final day of the WJCs, and it's been a lot of fun. And I really thank Cooper Hopkins yesterday for joining me for the game against USA and Canada. That was a lot of fun, even though he was on a little bit of a tape delay. We made that a great broadcast. So we'll pick this up off the face-off one. We'll get this to the forwards, drive to the net there, and this gets knocked away. Canada will pick this up. It's going to be a 3-on-3 developing. As this goes across, picked up by Dean. He's just going to fire the slap shot after toe dragging across the wall to himself and then firing the shot right on. So Thomas Milic, they'll be showing you some highlights on the TSN feed. He was able to really shut out the United States. They had about 45 shots on goal. And that diving save across the blue paint, I thought I was going to blow one of those voice registers, but Thomas Milic, he played his best game of the tournament. And you're looking at on the TV side of it between his parents on that side. He had a great performance. And you're going in there between Benjamin Gaudreau and Thomas Milic. Canada is one of the few teams that only carry 2 goaltenders. There's major pressure to be able to get the job done, and they were able to do so. So Uric, now with the help of spot check, trying to get this out. As this is picked up now into the neutral zone. Canada able to intercept. Tomas Sahanek has to play this with the goal stick as this goes back around. Czechia, this gets turned over as Milic has it knocked away on that side for Czechia, not Thomas Milic. As this one gets picked up, there was a big hit in toward the right side of the wall. I don't think that was just a wave, but the camera cut away from it as the fans are cheering and threw one of the Canadian players through the body as this gets picked up off of the center. Marcel has it now across the right wing side, trying to get picked up here by the help of Sturridge. Sturridge gets hit heavy there. So Canada throwing a lot more of the body than they did against the United States. This is a very heavy game in Czechia. They can show you that between Uric, Spacek, David Moravec. There's a lot of other big players here for Czechia, so they're going inch for inch right now in this 1-0 game. This gets chipped in. Holding off of the body side was nice, but it's a turnover as this is picked up here by Canada. They'll put this across the left side wall. Able to intercept. Bedard will try to set this one up as this goes back with the help of Joshua Waugh. Now, and behind the line, Uric able to cancel off the puck. 3:55 left to go in the first. Dylan Guenther trying to get to it. This is a dangerous pass, but it gets sticked away by Czechia and knocked down deep in the zone. Sahanek lost it in between his legs, but he had enough time to recover because there was no Canadian forwards and a forecheck. Picked up across the line, Shapovalov turns this one over, and an opportunity gets blocked. It's loose toward the right dot. It goes wide. It goes off of the backboards of the net, bouncing off the backside of the net, and Kulich able to find it. Now Kos, as this gets punched down the ice, picked up here by Canada. Czechs are caught on a change, and this is picked up by Logan Stankoven, the Dallas Stars product. He's going to toe drag across the right wall. He's behind the office now. Tomas Sahanek try to get picked up by Joshua Waugh. Stankoven, Connor Bedard will collect. Big save, Sahanek. He's down toward the left side. There is bodies all over the crease. Canada will collect toward the right side. Bedard going to fire one. He's never afraid to shoot. As this gets picked up now, Del Mastro trying to help him out. Bedard, he lost it in between his skates. A breakout! Here's a chance for Czechia. Big save by Milic off the breakaway. As the fans are rising to their feet, saluting Thomas Milic. Here's Bedard with a long shot. And this one gets picked up here by Spacek. Czechia gets this back in their own end as this goes back to Yuri Chichacek. And now Spacek will have it for Czechia. Put this one down the ice. Get this in toward the left side wall. Moravec trying to get to it as well on the left side wall. Stankoven is there. This goes back across the wall. And this is a turnover. As this is picked up, Othmann is going to be waiting across the 1-on-2 with Zack, Dean, and Gaucher. And this gets knocked away by Czechia. 2 minutes left to go in the first. As this is held toward the right side wall. Othmann has it. We're going to play this across to D, and this gets canceled off by Czechia one more time. Good defensive tilt so far, with the exception of the power play. So Hanek will just swat this one like a fly toward the right side dot, but Sturridge stuck in his own end with Bourbonic. Gaucher out there as well. He lost his stick. He's got to go back to the players' bench to collect one. He's not allowed to play there without that right now and make a play. He's going to get called for a penalty. As this gets picked up now by Dean. And toward the left side wall. Still looking is Tomas Sahanek toward the left side post. And this gets flipped. This is not out of line, though. This stays in. But Canada going to go ahead and take their changes anyway. So David Moravec, third line defense out there right now for Random Rulick squad. We'll get this across the red line. Canada will pick it up now. As this goes back toward the defensive side of Brandt Clarke. Now around the wall, as this is picked up by Czechia, you're a Czech. We'll try to help get this one out. And Czechia will try to go right to left. They've just not been able to do so in the last 5 minutes. Not a lot of shots, but a lot of puck possession for Canada. It's 8-6 on the shot board. Canada up 1-0. Hinds, Othmann, try to center a rolling puck as this gets picked up now. This goes off the glass, down the ice. Icing is going to be waved off. So we're still underway here with 30 seconds left to go in this first. Good contest, though. Good defensive contest. I like what I've seen between both teams. Canada starting to put in that straight edge. Bedard set up the pass there for Stankoven. And the second opportunity goes wide in the middle of the circles. Shot goes wide and brushed aside with a Czechia stick before it ever hits Suhanek. Still 10 seconds left to work. Zellweger riding that right wall. Set it up D with a bomb. And that one got blocked out in front by Czechia and bodies and bounced out of play. 6.2 left to go in this first. Bedard, a lot of attention on him. Stankoven's shot, it went up into the shoulder of Thomas Suhanek, able to brush it aside at the last moment. And then a break on the end for Martin Rasavi. That was the one that was called where everybody was jumping up to their feet. He had some space and time. Milic was able to meet him. He didn't bite on the backhand forehand that he was selling. So 6.2 left to go in this first. It's an offensive zone draw for Canada. Plenty of time to be able to get not only a face-off win, but a quick puck move and a shot. You don't have to just fire this one right away. 10 shots to 6. Canada up 1-0. Czechia wins this. It's going to end the first period. Canada up 1-0, courtesy of a goal from Dylan Guenther. We come right back. We'll call the second in a moment.
Everything you see me do was made possible by what you don't see. Because when you're not looking, I go to work. Strength isn't a gift. It's grown. It's learned and tested.
So I'm just going to write some notes in here and then we'll get this across. This is the final game of the WJCs. It's shaping up to be a good one so far, especially if the first period's got anything to say about it if it continues like it.
I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This is 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back.
I'm just going to pull my other part of the box and rosters on this side just so there isn't any confusion from my notes. Maybe for myself. I'm just going to click somewhere else and click this one back there.
Because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, permanent solution is protected by the Bosley guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Scan the QR code. Don't wait. Scan the code now and ask about the Bosley guarantee.
So Dylan Guenther.
USA Hockey is teaching more than just a game. They're teaching kids about
Teamwork, confidence, fitness, fun.
because every kid deserves a chance to play.
From Brandt, Clarke, and Brennan Othmann.
Visit USAHockey.com to learn more about the great youth hockey opportunities available for your child. Because dreaming big is one thing, getting the right start is everything. This is NHL Network. Taking first 20 minutes, Dylan Guenther, 6th power play goal of the tournament, has Canada up 1-0, and he's with Kenzie Lalonde.
Well, Dylan, up by 1 here. How do you feel the group is settling in?
Well, I thought it quite well in the first period. A better start, better first shift from every line. So to take that to the next one.
It may just be the power play specialist. That is your 6th goal in the tournament, 6th on the power play. How comfortable are you out there on man advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a lot of options out there. A lot of guys who can score goals and score from anywhere. So it was a nice play by Clarke. You know, I think just a big thing for the power play is getting pucks back and retrieving pucks, and we did that well and just broke them down.
Are there any adjustments you'd like to see heading into the second period?
Yeah, I think just eliminating a couple of their rushes there. I think sometimes we're throwing pucks in front of the net when we could be going a little high and maybe making a simpler play. So, but I think all in all, we played pretty well.
Thanks.
Nice.
Chase Duffy back with Cheryl Pounder, Jeff O'Neill, Bob McKenzie, and the World Junior Championship trophy has joined us as well. Somebody 40 minutes, perhaps more, away from claiming the crown. You could dominate in a World Junior game by pure skill like Bedard, or you can do it the old-fashioned way with hits, Bob, and pure out effort. Was often the spark plug for Canada there.
Absolutely, a real catalyst. And by his own lofty standards, I thought that the New York Ranger prospect who plays for the Peterborough Petes had a relatively quiet game against the Americans. He's a visceral player. He's a skilled agitator, and when he's at his best, he's drawing penalties, big hits, big hit on Juracek. He gets tied up with Juracek. Notice he's got the stick in there and decides I'm going to go right down and draw a penalty. And away we go on the power play. And he's good at the net front and does a great job here of keeping that play alive and getting it back to Guenther, back to the point, and then back to Guenther. And what does Othmann do? That's what he does best. Go to the net front, create a screen, take away the eyes. And then big physical play. Setting the tone for Team Canada in every way in that first period was Brennan.
Completely agree with you. And how about Guenther getting his 6th power play goal? I mean, what a tournament he has had. You know that he's done in the NHL, getting those power play goals, but it is one time where you know exactly where he is going to be, right in his wheelhouse, and everyone knows how they create motion and how he can get to his soft spot and right in or around the dot every single time. The amazing thing about him is he knows exactly where the coverage is, and with great timing, he gets lost in it, whether it's low or at the top of the circle or the dot. I mean, this is a guy you can lean into all of it, and he is set up and ready to go, can fire off either foot.
That was his best shot. He wired that baby.
I still can't believe we went from the start of this tournament where most Canadians, not diehard junior hockey fans, didn't know the names of either Canadian players, and now they're chanting Thomas Milic's name here. Didn't have a ton of spectacular saves, but one where they...
So I'm just going to go ahead and give you a quick little reset here in the first intermission. I got the notes and everything else typed in. So shots were 8-6 in that first period. It was a lone power play that awoke Canada from its early slumber. A great play across the right wall. Dylan Guenther scores from Brandt, Clarke, and Brennan Othmann. Othmann makes a diving play across the right wall in the offensive zone to keep the puck in. Clarke then goes D to D, hits a chance for Dylan Guenther to get a slapper 1T toward the left circle as this one goes over the shoulder, left shoulder of Sahanic and in above the crossbar and in. 1-0 Canada. Martin Rasavi was also denied on a breakaway by Thomas Milic, and it was physical and good shot blocking by Czechia in that first. It was a game that had a little bit of everything in that first period. I would expect much of the same going into the second. So that's a little bit of your first period reset. Let's take a look at scores in the NHL side as we should really kind of be getting underway. I don't expect a lot of goal scoring just yet. Preds and Hurricanes underway. Caps and Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets have a 1-0 lead on the Capitals. We'll see who scored the lone goal for Columbus on that side so far. There shouldn't be a lot of scoring updates to give you until the second period. It was Johnny Gaudreau from Emil Bernstrom at the 5:19 marker. Rangers and Canadiens, 13:41 scoreless. Same for Blues and Devils, Coyotes and Flyers, Kraken and Maple Leafs. All scoreless with the exception of Blue Jackets and Caps. Your late games will be Islanders Oilers, Avalanche Canucks, and Penguins Golden Knights and Bruins Kings. A couple good late ones at 10 and 10:30 respectively between the Pens and the Knights and the Bruins and the Kings.
I'm the founder of this Big Beautiful Foundation. When I started in 2016, I would go to the post office and literally fill out each person's name on a label. And now at ShipStation, we are shipping 500 beauty boxes a month.
I will be right back.
For me to get all early cancer so much quicker.
ShipStation, the #1 choice of online sellers. Go to ShipStation.com/try and get 2 months free.
So I had to quit college to help my mom, but I never wanted to quit my dream of a career in IT.
There are over 260,000 IT support specialist job openings in America. On Coursera, you can earn Google's IT support professional certificate designed to prepare you for an IT support career in about 5 months for $39 a month. No degree or experience needed.
My job now is amazing. I can spend more time with my family.
Find courses, certificates, and degrees on Coursera. Join for free at Coursera.org. Coursera, learn without limits.
I'm Shane Wright in Seattle Kraken, and this is the Reid and Olen treatment. Doing these little things can really go a long way, so just kind of picked up a rim off the wall and made sure to check my shoulder to read part of the sequence there. Kind of read what the penner's doing, read where he is, kind of feel where that pressure is, and then make sure to move off it, kind of roll to your side, which side he's on, and kind of attacking that from there. It happens a lot of times in games where you're picking up puck in the corner, and defensively closing on you, and you got to make a move, you got to read off, what he's doing and where he is, and you got to spin off and roll off and try to make a play. So that's definitely a position where I find myself a lot in games, definitely really playing skill on ice. So it's always really important practice and stuff that game like scenarios that you're going to see in games, and every time you can get a lot of extra reps and a lot of practice on these drills, it's always important doing these things and work on in practice.
This is just the start of our junior hockey coverage here on TSN. As soon as the World Juniors are done and we turn our attention back to the CHL Oshawa Generals, Kitchener Rangers, January 13th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Catch CHL action all season long here on TSN. Please be joined by the president of the International Ice Hockey Federation, Luke Tardy. We sat here in Edmonton a year and change ago on the day the tournament was canceled, which was you just taking over the job, but that was an awful position. How gratifying after 2 years of COVID-affected tournaments to see the crowds and the excitement both in Moncton and here in Halifax.
Yeah, that was not that comfortable like I am right now. But
all right, so let's just take a quick look at it as I'm back. We still have a little bit of the intermission, probably about 10 minutes or so. This is a WJC final with 7 votes. Does Canada win the gold medal tonight? 71% of you say yes. 29% of you say no.
No. I hope we'll never have to organize that in August, because that's the place during Christmas time. And also the format, Halifax, Moncton, and we had a wonderful game for the preliminary round, and I think everybody's happy to come back. Also talking about ice hockey.
Given the success here, it's been a long time since the World Juniors in Canada went into the smaller cities and the smaller rinks. Given how successful it's been, would you encourage Hockey Canada to do it again when it comes back here in 2020?
Hello!
Yes,
what's up?
I think it was.
I just got finished playing poker. What's the score? I honestly have not been watching. I'm disappointed myself.
It's 1-0 Canada. It was Dylan Guenther who scored the goal in the power play.
And it gave a kind of atmosphere. That's the junior hockey.
So,
second period?
we're going into the second period, yes.
All right.
Ever since the sexual assault allegations surfaced against the 2018 team, the 2003 team.
Yeah, it was pretty much an even game up until the power play call. It was one of the Czechian players, David Jurek, went to the box. It pretty much awoke Canada, and then they ended up scoring on that side. It's kind of how it ended up working a little bit in the USA game for a little bit. It started out rough in the first period, and they kind of buzzsaw their way through. We're trying to wait and see right now if Canada is going to get the complete buzzsaw against Czechia, like they did against the United States yesterday when they played their best game. But still got a little bit to figure out right now with 2 periods left.
A World Cup, the NHL is talking about having one mid-season, perhaps as
since February 2020.
All right.
What are your thoughts on that?
At the moment,
We've got about 4 minutes and 30 seconds of intermission time.
That's difficult for us because we got the World Championship, and also this time it will be in Europe.
Here we go. Man, I was on the happy hour with Pat Rush, and I was saying, Canada can't treat the Czechs like they did in that open.
Yeah, it's got to be a different game than it was in the first one. But I think Canada, so far, I know they only lost the one game. It's kind of been a little spotty, I would think, for fans. But, I mean...
You know what, though? I was with you during the first game on the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
We played very well last night.
Yeah, they did. They played the best game of the tournament.
You know, it really all came out against the Americans. I don't know if the Americans were bad or we were good or both.
No, I mean, there was, to be honest with you, the way the IIHF rules work, and I had it in the story correctly, but I made the preamble to start. If there is any kind of contact in the crease, whether it's accidental or coincidental, it's going to get waved off. And that's how the rules are. There was 2 goals that were called off against the United States.
I saw that.
They got dominated in the second period. They had a rough second period, and that was their undoing. They played pretty well, but Canada, they had a complete defensive game, and Thomas Milic was exceptional. He had his best game of the tournament. They needed it.
I definitely saw that. That was something else.
So, yeah, I mean, right now, as it stands, I know the way Czechia is, and like I said to you at the beginning of it, they're my dark horse to win the tournament. Well, they're getting a silver medal at worst. So, I mean, they did a damn good job, and they won the group. So it's one of those situations where they're a great defensive team. It hasn't really opened up with the exception of the power play. We'll see if it ends up opening up. But I think they should be very happy, regardless of what happens in this, that they've given Canada their best effort. The United States had to play a wild game at 2:30 Eastern when they won 8-7 against Sweden. When I was on there with Cooper Hopkins, I usually work with it. He's like, what do you expect for tomorrow's game? I said, well, you don't know within the 24-hour marker, but I'll say it'll be 3-2, it'll be structured. It ended up being 8-7. So who knows?
Yeah, and I think coming off of yesterday's game, I think we had to win it. Have to win tonight. It's almost a requirement after how amazing the Americans.
Yeah, I would think for any Canadian fans like yourself and all that, I think it's like a rite of passage. I think for everybody else, they just want to try to get closer to the level of the Canadians. I don't know if that's ever going to be possible, but throughout this entire tournament, with the exception of like Austria and Germany, it's been a damn good tournament across the board. There's been a lot of good showing there. It'd be nice at some point to get Russia back into this tournament and see what that would provide. But it's been good across the board.
Yeah.
Got about just another minute here, and we'll be checking back in within the Twitter Spaces and the YouTube side. I appreciate you guys jumping in and out on the YouTube side as well. 7 votes. Was Canada going to win the gold medal tonight? 71% say yes, 29% say no. So we'll end up seeing the way that goes. I think the second period might end up being the deciding factor. That's just my thoughts as far as what's going to end up happening. It's been a physical game toward the end of the first. Canada throwing a hell of a lot more body checks than they did at any other time against the United States when it was just goals, goals, goals. So we'll see how this ends up working out in this second period. It'll be a little bit sad because this will be the final day of the WJCs, but nonetheless, it's been a lot of fun covering this tournament.
All right, as we get ready for the second period to get underway,
All right, so 1950 left to go in this second period as we're underway with the puck drop. It's a 1-0 lead for Canada here off of the power play goal from Dylan Guenther. That's where we're at right now. That was pretty much the lone offensive pressure that they had. Martin Rasavi got denied with a breakaway for Czechia. It was a good save by Thomas Milic. He was all alone, but he didn't bite off the backhand forehand attempt. So Czechia are going to be going left to right in this second period. They have the white shoulder with the red shirt in Canada and the all-white shirt with the black pants. So a penalty is going to be called, and we'll see who this is going to be on. This may be Ethan Del Mastro for Canada. I'll have to take a second look at it and pull up my live sport box score that has the WJC side of it. So Del Mastro is going to the box. Czechia will be going to their first power play of the game. So David Urick ended up getting an entry toward the right wall. And maybe just a little bit of a trip there by Del Mastro, maybe an unintentional slew foot, whatever it was. It was caught there by the referee. I didn't see much there, to be honest, with myself, but I also said that during a couple times in the broadcast with some of the goals that are called back. Whether it's coincidental or incidental, that's the way it goes. So now it's a tie-up toward the right side. Don and Milesh able to get this one here for Czechia. Play this across off of a shot into the screen. This bounces up and on play. 19:08 left to go in this second period.
Canada important to kill off this power play. Again, they cannot be checked. Any momentum
No, they cannot. And again, it's one of these situations where you think about Czechia, you wonder just how much they have offensively to provide. It was a hellacious game in the semifinal round against Sweden where it was a 2-1 comeback to win in overtime. So if Canada probably gets a couple more here, at least one more, it could be danger here for Czechia because we don't know what they're going to provide on offense. So Czechia able to break in across an open red line. Canada just giving them the space to get the entry right now. Urick will get to it with the help of Spacek. Now Stanislav Sposal holding on to the blue line. As this goes back between Bravenok, Sposal will pick it up. Now he's stuck toward the right side wall. Canada just trying to chop away at this as this is picked up by Sturz. Gabriel Sturz has it in behind the office of Milic, and they'll wait in toward the right side wall. Sposal taking his time. One-timer setup. Milic saw it all the way, and he made the save. 18:22 left to go in the second. Tomas Milic, he's been quite the story going to the semifinal against the United States and now in the final. He is playing his best games of the tournament right now, right when they need it. And whoever wins this one is going to claim the gold medal. The loser will get the silver. The United States survived a 8-7 overtime thriller against Sweden in the bronze medal game. So another face-off upcoming.
And smaller for the Canadians. I mean, this goal, if this man's not an NHL prospect,
he's certainly going to have his stock rise a little bit. Maybe we'll see if he's going to get another shot at the World Juniors. As this goes toward the right side dot, this is caught by the right pad of Milic before it crossed the red line and the puck was blown dead. So it was a good one-timer setup there for Spacek. But Milic able to fight through the screen and find it. As this took a bounce off of one of the Canadian defenders, almost hit in between the spot that you don't want to, where there's a cup, I'll say in that, as far as that was deflected, but it got stopped. So Czechia able to get another offensive zone draw here with about 51 seconds left to go on their power play. Shots are 10-8 in favor of the Canadians. They're leading the scorecard around 1-0. 18-11 left to go in the second. Sopovalev is going to go ahead and fix his glove and stick right now as we are just waiting for the puck to be dropped. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but he's going to take his time. Seeing Bankier is going to go ahead and take this draw the fourth line side, penalty kill side for Canada. We got about 50 seconds left to work with on this kill. Tyson Hinds will get this one down, and this could be a breakout opportunity for Canada. Off the back pass, and now contact all the way inside the goal, and it's in and immediately waved off. No chance for this goal to count as Thomas Suhanik is writhing in pain as he got busted over there by Sean Bankier, who's just looking stone-faced. And if
trying to replicate a Swedish shorthanded goal, that ain't gonna work. Sorry.
No, and Suhanik is very slow to get up. He is not getting up at all. As Edward Sale is looking over as he took a man, he got bowled over and then part of his back went into the left post. Zack Ostapchuk made a spin past the Bankier and then he just absolutely never stopped, bowled right into Sahanic, and I sincerely hope that he's okay because he took a very hard fall into the left post, and I think part of his leg might have also got stuck against that post. And that camera angle is not good, folks, on the TV side, so be thankful you can't see it. And I don't know if we're going to go to commercial break just yet, but the backup goaltender that I don't believe has had any time yet here for Czechia is going to start. I know Daniel Krall might have played one game. That's going to be difficult to call, but I don't know for sure. Everything is tight in the IIHF. The only thing I can say is there's no way that would ever be a goal. And man, Sahanic, that's rough. Don't know what else to tell you there, folks. You take contact like that against the left post when your left leg is stuck against, and maybe your shoulder as well. There is a lot to stretch out and a lot that doesn't feel good. And Sahanic has been every single reason why Czechia has been in the position that they are. He's going to stay in right now. So Czechia has 5 wins in this tournament. The most was Thomas Duba, 7 wins in 2021. Dominik Hasek also played for Team Czechia. He had 5 wins in 85. So he has a chance to get ahead of Dominik Hasek if Czechia would win today. That would be lofty, lofty praise. So he is going to stay in. And I did not expect that. But again, Czechia, in one sense, that's their best netminder. They don't want to lose him at all. That gives them the best chance to have a chance to win this game. So after a long break, it's going to be a neutral zone draw. The score still remains 1-0 with 18:01 in the second. As this gets won by the Czechians to the neutral zone, and we'll resume play again. It's still 30 seconds left to go in the first power play of the game for Czechia, and just one power play of the game for Canada across the right side dot. As this one will get picked up. Canada can't get this out, but now they finally will. We'll see who this is going to be a break for. Off the backhand and denied off the right post. That was Zack Ostapchuk who got denied off the bar. So a couple close calls. Long outstretched pass as Czechia was trying to break out. Then it's way off sides. So Sahanic, if he had to brush out any cobwebs, he didn't really have too much time to do so because he had to deal with a potential breakaway as Ostapchuk raced in all alone to the ref circle, tried to forehand it, and bounced it off the right bar. So there was definite room underneath the 5-hole side. He just couldn't get it there. It could have been 2-0 for Canada if it wasn't for the help of the best friend, which is the crossbar of the netminder. So 11 shots to 8 in favor of Canada. They still have 4 seconds left to go on this kill, but they got an offensive zone draw. This one might have been dropped unfairly. So only a second goes off the clock, and we'll do it again. Sahanic, I can see his goal mask from the Tri-City Americans is where he plays. Matthias Mensick on the draw here for Czechia. There's just a little bit of a tie-up. Immediate shot there by Bedard. And what are we going to have now? A lot of booing from the Halifax crowd, as you would expect. They do pay $6,000 for a ticket. They want to make sure. That's what I saw yesterday as far as the United States and Canada. Don't know, Owen, if it's the same price right now for this final, but I can't imagine to be that much less. $17.24. And if we're really going to argue about the 1 second left on the clock, I guess it's what we were. We're going to take it back to 17.24 instead of 17.23. So that's what all the fuss was about. And now we'll drop the puck again. It's another win for Canada. Connor Bedard had for a second. And the shot goes toward the right side wall. So Czechia And the Canadian power play, everything's going to return back to 5-on-5. 17-10 left to go in the second. 11 shots to 8, as we said. It's been very tight throughout, with the exception of the one Canadian power play, which has scored from Dylan Guenther. As this is sticked across. Now on the red line side, Czechia will try to get a long shot in. It gets bounced up in the air, trying to get a sharp angle shot to go through the middle of the slot, but it bounces right back to the IIHF logo. This will be played by Thomas Milic. We'll just play a calm back pass into his defense there with Olen Zellweger. Mastro with the help, Joshua Waugh, as he tries to get through with the help of Connor Bedard. He tried to toe drag through a couple players and lost it. It's a 2-on-2 the other way. Promenade is going to drive this toward the left side down here for Czechia. Hold on toward the wall and put this in across the circle as Milic is holding on the left side post. Now near the left dot, this will go D to D. Spot check wanted the 1T, but instead elected for a disposal wrister that went just wide. And now it's 1-on-2. Connor Bedard, as this one gets set up for Stankoven, his diving play was able to get that across to get a Stankoven pass, but it got denied. And now it's toward the right circle as it just missed the left post, and Suhanek took some contact again, but that might have been from one of the Czechian defenses. He was down. Now this is in the Canadian defensive zone toward the right side red line as Canada will finally get a chance to get it. It got knocked away from Marcel, and this is picked up. Stanislav Svozil will hit this, and between the players' bench, you can safely clear it, but it's going to be neutral zone draw with 15:45 left to go in the second frame. Go to a commercial break. Couple chances. This one might have been off the post. They were playing the commercial break music, and maybe TSN decided otherwise, but I think that's what we got right now. So I'm going to hold here, but I close up the recorder until we start it again. So 15:45, they were playing the commercial break music, but for anyone else that was listening on the podcast side, when you get this, that was a temporary one. So this is picked up now toward the right side dot. Czechia will win a defensive zone draw. 2-on-2 developing, long wrist shot, stopped by the stick of Milic. And now Korchinski will get this one down across the red line. As this is a battle, Marcel will tie them up across the boards. And Shane Wright, couple of backhand toe drags. And unbelievably, Shane Wright lifted a backhand from the opposite circle to the opposite side of the post. It beat Suhanek and went in. And I can say that was Shane Wright's best goal of the tournament, but because we haven't seen much of Shane Wright. 2-0 Canada. So we were waiting for Shane Wright. I think a lot of NHL fans, let alone Canadian fans, want to see what Shane Wright can do. He undressed one of the defenders there in Adam Mahura with a backhand. He got around Svozil, and then he just wired a backhand right in toward the opposite side of the post and in. It had a lot of velocity on it. It had perfect height. It was right underneath the shoulder of Suhanek, but that's just a great move by Shane Wright. And guess what? Happy birthday as well. So 2-0 lead for the Canadians now as this gets dumped in. Czechia, I would say this, even though it's 15-10 left to go in the second, they are in incredible danger territory because we don't know what they can always bring on offense. You could have that explosion that you had against Sweden and USA earlier, but who knows? So Canada will get this one in as Zack try to get this around the right side of the wall. As this gets knocked away by Spacek, but kept in. Olen Zellweger will get this, and now Czechia will just play this toward the right side red line, the open part of the wall, and dump it down deep. They're going to have to start winning some puck battles and creating some offense. Canada's defense over the last couple of games has really stepped up. They look like the team that is in the final form that fans have started to expect. Now near the right side wall, but this one gets blocked by Uric with the wrist shot attempt. Czechia is trying to get this out of their own end with the 14:20 marker of the second period. It's a 2-0 lead for Canada, 15 shots to 9 in favor of the Canadians as well. This is picked up off the glass where Savi lost it. Canada will get this in. Suhanek will play it to his defensive side as this goes to David Moravec. This is a shot for Joshua Waugh right into the catching glove of Suhanek as we get a little bit of pushing and shoving at the 14-minute mark. No, I don't think this game is going to be as open as it was in the preliminaries. Oh, and I completely agree with you on that side. You give Canada another opportunity. Look, the preliminaries in the first game, you never know what's going to happen. The thing for me is to build throughout this entire tournament. That's what the Canadians have done. They played their best game against the United States. They get to play the next game the next day. When you're feeling yourself and feeling well, I do think that Czechia is in real trouble here. If they don't get the next goal, I would completely write this one off. And I'm not even just saying that as a broadcaster. You kind of just feel it. So Allan has it off the face-off win. Bedard will try to race to it toward the right side wall with the help of Stankoven. Joshua Wall gets it knocked away. And now Spacek will get this one. Milic will get to it. And this could be intercepted there by Canada, but only momentarily toward the right side wall, as there was a good shove and picked up now. Allan will get this across the right side red line. As Sturz gets this knocked away, Gabriel Sturz will then pick it up and get the clear as this one gets knocked back down the ice, as Milic will look toward the right side post. Long outstretched pass goes right around the boards there from Spacek. Will try to be the first to get to it as the pass tried to find Logan Stankoven, but it got knocked away. Czechia, nice move off the wall, get to the neutral zone entry. It's a 3-on-2, but they're kind of stuck toward the left side wall now as the pass goes off of the opposite end of the net and behind the office of Milic, and now it's still on the right side wall. Canada will try to find a Joshua Wall. We'll get a chip and chase. This Sohanek will just bank this pass off the embankment toward the neutral zone. Czechia gets their entry, but they got to go back. They're offsides. Got a couple forwards on there. This could be a good press there for Stankoven. On the backhand side for a wrist shot there for Guenther, and he got knocked down. As this is picked up toward the right dot, bad bounce, and Brandt Clarke got a shot at it. And Sohanek's going to say, he had enough of it, hold on, because that puck just bounced right in front, and that could have been a big-time opportunity. Now we will go to a commercial break. It's a 2-0 lead for the Canadians.
World Junior Final night calling it out from the NHL, but there's 10 games tonight. Just take a look at what's going on across the league. The Hurricanes and Predators are locked in a solid 1-1 and one. The Blue Jackets are surprisingly near the Capitals 1-0 after the play. The Canadiens and the Rangers scoreless at 1. The Devils and the Blues. The Blues have been on a bit of a run lately. They beat the Leafs in overtime Tuesday night, which I was very disappointed to see. They're up 1-0 on the second best team in hockey, while the Flyers are down 1-0. The Coyotes and the Maple Leafs and the Kraken are scoreless. All those games at the end of one. I think this game is pretty well decided. I don't see the Czechs coming back, especially with an injured goalie who there for some reason decided to keep in. Don't ask me why or
I don't think they have another choice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you got it. At this point,
No.
I mean, it's probably the same amount of effect.
No, he's the only chance that they're even at this point in the tournament, so we'll figure it out when we get to it. So 12:33 left to go in this second. It's going to be an offensive zone faceoff win here for Canada. Another good shot block by Czechia. They're trying to keep the stuff in front of Sohanek because there's bodies everywhere as this wrist shot goes off the right bar. That was Othmann that had another look at it, and there was all sorts of traffic there, and that was the only spot that he could shoot at and almost scored anyway. So good accuracy as Mastro. We'll get this one around. Brandt Clarke also out there as well as this goes back into the offensive zone for Czechia, but the shot gets blocked. Spacek gonna have to pick it up and have to just clear it down because there's no time to get back to get on side and get puck possession for Canada. Will actually brush Czechia all the way back in their own end. Czechia has only had about 3 shots in this second period as well, so it's been rough sailing all the way across. Canada only has 16 as well, so the defensive pressure for Czechia has been there, but again, the million-dollar question is if Czechia can surge and actually score some goals, and not the way that Canada has been playing over the last couple, as Mastro just hit the pipe with the help of Shane Wright supplying the traffic out in front. So Shane Wright, I can say this too. He's had his best game of the tournament right now, and that's the best him for the final. And not just because he scored a goal. He's been all over the ice, and he's actually been in front of the dirty areas to create screens. So it's not all been about Connor Bedard in this final, which I think is good for Canadian fans to see. Glove down, and through a face-off win, and the shot gets fired high up into the screen. And we'll do it again with 11:37 left to go in the second. Get a good look on the TV side, TSN feed. Again, I'm following on NHL Network, but they're going to carry the TSN feed. Joshua Waugh, 4 points in yesterday's game with a pair of goals and a pair of assists. His empty net goal was pretty much the salt in the wound as they pretty much stopped the Americans last night, but that was the best game that Canada's played throughout the whole tournament. They're going to try to close it out now and win a gold medal here tonight. This will be the final game of the WJCs, no matter what. Dump down. Yeah, it was a curious decision at that point, but I mean, you take it, you can get it. Anytime you get a chance to beat up on our arch enemy, I don't know if the Canadians north of the border will think about the United States as arch enemy, but you do it. You pour the salt in the wound. So I get that part of it. So you're a check. We'll get it now with Gabriel Sturz. It's 4-on-3. Sturz will get the entry toward the right side boards and dump this one in. Now, picked up by Jacob Kos. As he gets rid of the right wall, Hinds kind of bothering him on that side. As this is still with Hinds and Dean as they're trying to poke this away, Czechia is somehow keeping this along the wall, but it's just a massive humanity. There's no space to be had as far as where this puck is going to go as this goes around the wall. We'll see if Spotcheck can kind of find something. He's going to shoot it to the screen. Milic makes the save and try to get backhand in front of the blue paint, but there wasn't a red jersey in there. As this gets picked up across the glass, I don't think that this is going to be a penalty as we get a 10-22 stoppage in the second period. We go to a half commercial, so I think that we're going to stay here on that side. They're just doing a little IIHF ad. So 10-22 left to go in the second. Watching this game in there from NHL Network TSN, and the crowd of Halifax hasn't really had to sit on their hands like they did when they were down 2-0 and then score 6 straight on that side. So some Shane Wright signs in the stands. A lot of Canadian jerseys, a lot of fans that pay good money to see this right now, and there's nothing like a gold medal. And they're pretty close to it right now, about another 30 minutes away at this point to be able to get one. Hinds will get this one down. Lofted by Czechia. It's going to be iced, so Czechia cannot change. Olen Zellweger will get the hybrid icing touch. 10-11 left to go in the second.
And here, Canada's just they gotta keep consistently doing what they've been doing for the past period and a half. Again, they're playing to their advantage. The Czechs goalie is probably injured. So they gotta really go hard on the net. They gotta really, honestly, at this point, you just shoot everything you got. You're up 2-0. You just shoot everything you got.
I think that might be a smart strategy there, Owen, on that side. I couldn't disagree with any of that. As this is picked up now and through the action, it's a 3-on-2 opportunity there, but Sturridge gets it knocked away from him. It's kept across the blue line side by Stolzel. He'll fire into the screen, and this one goes way high. It takes a crazy carom in behind the net and then lofted over the crossbar, but Canada will find it. That was a weird hop. As this was picked up by Ethan Del Mastro, able to send it in, but a hybrid icing is canceled off. And Czechia will get an offensive zone draw coming with 9:32 left in the second. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think it's a chance where you just fire those shots on net. It's 17-10 right now in favor of Canada. I want to see throughout the tournament if Czechia is going to be able to provide that offense. They provided it in the preliminary, but this preliminary is not a gold medal game. So it's a completely different story.
Exactly. You turn up the heat and Canada turns up their play.
Yep. So offensive zone draw win. Slap shot. This one goes way wide, up and out of play. 9:27. David Urich had a huge rip at it. And again, he was the one that sent a overtime for Czechia against Sweden. And then they finally have winning it a little bit after on the 3-on-3. Get a commercial break. Come right back. So I may be a glutton for punishment this week because I think my Saturday assignment might be the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. So I'll be able to just curl into a ball once again after this weekend is done when they get pounded by.
Saturday. I wish I could join you for that. I'm a huge Leafs fan, but I think I'm going to my university's hockey game that night.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch college hockey, university hockey, whatever it is on that side. I always enjoy
When
it.
I get back, I will probably be pissed drunk, so it'll be in no shape. I mean, I'm almost there now. I've had this is year number 4 tonight, which, you know, is pretty standard for the Thursday night at university.
Well, you'll be able to celebrate with a little extra libations when you get the gold, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. When we win, I'm going to fucking yell and probably piss off my roommates. I do not take this seriously at all. I just come on, have fun.
No, I understand it is what it is on the color cast side between Patrick and some of the other ones that are in there. I always there's certain times when I want to try to keep things serious, certain times when I'm good on the other side, but depends when I work with my buddy. We kind of keep it like a broadcast standard, so it is.
Yeah,
what it is.
no, I'm not going to interrupt the play-by-play or anything, but like I like to.
No, I get what you're saying. It's all in fun on that side. So 9:10 left to go in this second period. There's a right across the right wall. Coast was delivering a hit. As Canada, Zack Ostapchuk will get this across the red line. Czechia is going to need some help and come back on the defensive side because it was almost turned over. And now, as they'll make a turnover or make a change, across the players' bench, it gets lofted. Milic will hold it in the breadbasket. We're going to stop at 58. Milic hasn't had a lot to do right now. He's only had to make 11 saves. Again, that long clear is going to count as a save opportunity, so that will help the save percentage. But again, only a couple stops, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 for Milic. Very quiet game as far as what you would expect. And again, for as bad as the United States got ran over by the buzzsaw, they do have more of an offensive firepower that Canada had to contend with. I know the scoreline didn't look that way, but the United States certainly made them work for it right now. Czechia is not really making Canada work for it, but Canada is not allowing them to get in the offensive zone, allowing them any kind of space. So within these last couple of games, they've played their best hockey.
Against the U.S., it was a 43 save effort from Canada. I mean,
yes,
that's some NHL level shit right
there. It is. Milic was incredible, and again, in a situation where we'll talk about it for a second because there's a stoppage. You had Benjamin Gaudreau and you had Thomas Milic, and Gaudreau was the first guy. He was the one that was starting everything in the tournament. Canada, I believe, is the only team, or maybe one of the only 2 teams that only carry 2 goalies. So it's either one or the other, and Milic has been exceptional throughout these last couple of games.
Does Benjamin Gaudreau have any relation to Johnny Gaudreau?
I was wondering that myself, but I couldn't find any clarifications. It doesn't seem like a very common name, and you would think that it would be.
It does not.
So Czechia going to win this offensive zone draw. They're going to fire it wide toward the left side of the red line. About 8:30 left to go in this second frame. Czechia trying to keep this across the red line, but Kevin Korchinski able to get an interception. Canada will get this across the red line now. Really haven't had to strain the voice or anything to yell and scream about because there hasn't been much. There's been a lot of defensive battles, unlike the open game that we've had, especially in the bronze as well. So shot goes out of play one more time. 8:14 left to go in the second as you take a look at Zack. I would say if I had to guess off the top of my head, about 15 shots have gone out of play, maybe hit a couple of crossbars, and maybe about 5 clears into the players' bench. That kind of tells you what type of game speed that we've had right now. 17 shots to 12.
Yes, I do. Oh, okay. I didn't think I had stats on flash for this one. It's 17-12 in favor of Canada.
17-12 are the shots. And we're looking on a couple of the boxes there, and I want to be able to help me on some of those if I can't find it on the livesport.com. They usually have all the penalties and the box score side of it, so when I update the story on the blog side, we'll get those squared away. But not really much to talk about here within this first and second. It's been a good defensive battle. It's been all Canada right now, and Czechia has got to find a way to just break through. I don't know what you can actually say if you believe in those motivational things as we'll get close to the second intermission with 8 minutes to go. But it's got to be a completely different team, and I just don't know if you're going to be able to find that at this point, this late in the tournament. So off the draw, Czechia does win the defensive zone puck, and this is picked up. It's a long slap shot. It took a weird carom off of one of the Canadian players, but it went wide on the left side red line. This stays in there with David Juracek. Able to keep it around and get around a hit. Kulik will get it now. He is one of the top prospects for Finland. He's going to set it up there for Ostapchuk, and that one got blocked. This is a lofted pass as Othmann will collect near the left side red line. 7:30 left to go in this second period. Milic lost it. Canada able to pick this across the red line now and get a puck entry as Tomas Sohanik plays this with the goal stick. Spacek will flub off the attempted clear, but Czechia has got their reinforcements, although they get a neutral zone turnover. Joshua Waugh with Adam Fantilli will get this one down dump deep on the left side red line. Wright, we'll get to it now. Try to make a outstretched pass toward the right side dot. Czechia finds it and will waft it down as Tyson Hinds. He's the other defensive partner out there right now for Canada, as this is picked up across the left side red line. Let me pull up the rest of my rosters as this goes now toward the right side wall. As you got Let's Go Canada chance right now for the very pro Halifax crowd, as you would expect. They paid a lot of money to watch this game, and they're enjoying what they're seeing right now. And toward the wall, as this is dumped down by Czechia one more time. There's been a lot of dump and chase, and Czechia has not been able to solve the defense right now. They just cannot get into the zone with any sort of consistency. And when they do, it's just a long outstretched slap shot and nothing else. So they're looking for a hope and a prayer right now, and they're not going to be able to find it unless they create something consistently. Canada has it across the defensive zone, and they'll put this in across the red line as Fantilli will get it dumped down. Czechia will overskate this puck as this gets intercepted off, and will look for a pass across the blue pink as this gets picked up by Fantilli. Fantilli one more time will send it around the horn. Joshua Waugh, Gabriel Sturridge try to get there as well, as this puck might have been played with a kick, as that's what they say. That's what I saw the ref actually signal. And now we go to a commercial break, and we'll sort it all out when we come back. Still 2-0 Canada.
Canada dominating possession, dominating shots on goal, dominating every aspect of this game. It probably should be 4-0 right now, but the Czechs do have an impressive netminder. Yeah, not too much else to update you on since the last break.
No, it's been a second period, if we're being honest with anyone on the YouTube side. I know people have jumped in and out because you want to watch some of the illegal streams with the box in front of it, but you could put a pillow in this second period right now, and if that's the way that it stays, I think Canada is going to like that. This has been a completely different World Juniors from the summer tournament with the COVID pause, when it was Mason McTavish keeping it alive on the side before it stayed outside post, and Kent Johnson got the game winner, and that was electrifying. This has been a sleepy type game.
That's the battle of the worst of the league on tonight. So, the Connor Bedard / Adam Fantilli sweepstakes. Where do you think Bedard goes? Where do you think Fantilli goes? Those are the Czech 1-2.
The interesting thing for me is I heard a lot of talk about Adam Fantilli, like you did, and he's done nothing in this tournament. Is he a top 3 pick? I don't know. He's projected to be. I think that's a very good question. I mean, it looks like the Connor Bedard sweepstakes and nothing else. If we're being offshoot with each other, I think that's fair to say. I haven't seen anything that's been too much of a standout side. Even for Shane Wright, who was the 3rd pick just a few months ago. I mean, a couple points for him, a couple points for Fantilli. There really isn't anything else to say. So 5:28 left to go in the second. It's going to be a Canadian power play, and I'm not sure what it was for. It could have been a tripping or something like that, but the referee actually made a kicking motion. Maybe it was a kick out, a trip or something like that, but the TSN TV side actually didn't show it, so I couldn't really relay it to you, as this is picked up now by Guenther. He was the goal scorer in the first period on the power play. Wright was the goal scorer in the second period off the backhand. He made a great toe drag move and just roofed the backhand toward the top of the post over the other shoulder of Stankoven, who was doing the left shoulder and the right shoulder, and shots that probably could not be stopped. Now, as this is dropped off from Wright, now Zellweger will get a chance to take his time. He's going to ride that blue line. Now on the high slot, as you make the pass across, Czechia just trying to keep that box shape as this one gets picked up now in the neutral zone. So Czechia can take their changes. Not sure if everything is going to be particularly important for Canada offensively right now, but one more goal should certainly do it. As Connor Bedard has this now near the right dot, looking for a deflection. It was a stop by Suhanik as he was down with the right pad, looking for a tip out in front after that, but it got brushed aside. And now entry there, Stankoven. He will get it, but it's offsides. 32 seconds left to go in the Canadian power play. That had been the best opportunity for Canada in, let's say, about 9 minutes of action. It's really one of the only other times I had to call something crazy other than the Shane Wright goal. We have a, hold on 1 second, maybe a too many men penalty from what the referee was telling me, but I want to go ahead and look at my live sport box score and see if they relay this to you so I can get it right. So too many men on the ice will be against Canada, so that's going to negate the 39 seconds that are left to go on the power play. And it was just barely with the puck being touched. So sometimes when you see it on the NHL level, and I'm sure this is the same in the IIHF, you can get away with it if you're like 4 or 5 feet from the bench as long as you don't touch the puck. But since the puck was played at any point, it's going to be a bench minor, so it's going to go against Canada. They do win the defensive zone draw. So we got 4-on-4 for about another 25 seconds. Banked across the right wall, Czechia kind of flubbed the pass, wasn't really sure about where they want to go D to D, but they'll set it up now. And now David Moravec will get this one to the forward side for Rasavi. Rasavi now toward the left side Dach. Put this one around to Milic. And he's just going to make the glove save. They just fired it low. He made an easy one there. So you got 9 seconds left to go on the 4-on-4. 3:58 left to go in this second period. Winner gets the gold medal. Loser gets the silver. United States got the bronze against Sweden with an 8-7 overtime win. This is the final day of the World Juniors. Yeah, this is going to be their best opportunity there, Owen. There's no doubt about it. The only chance, and I'm not going to try to say this to be any sort of smart aleck, you have a 5-on-4 opportunity. Czechia hasn't been able to have any kind of space, even strength, so they got to get more than just slap shots from the blue line. If they can't drive the net and create something, yeah, this could be all she wrote. And this is still 3:58 in the second. That's just the kind of the way it feels right now. So 5 seconds left to go in this 4-on-4. Canada wins another defensive zone draw. They'll get the clear. And now Czechia has a chance with $1:20 left to go on their power play. Canada's going to be able to get wholesale changes as well as Czechia is doing the same. So David Urich, Columbus Blue Jackets product, going to leave it here for his other forward side to be able to get in. We're just going to instead, Shapovalov will clear this toward the right side wall, toward the red line. Pass went to nobody, and Hinds, instead of trying to skate all the way down, he's just going to go ahead and take his change. And the race for the puck is still going to be won there by Zack Ostapchuk. And there was more Czechian players to get there in time, but they didn't want to use the gasoline left in the tank. They want to take their rushing for an offensive opportunity. Not a lot of time left to do so, though. 40 seconds left to go as it goes across the IIHF logo. Czechia finally gets an entry with Yuri Kulik. Plays it off the right side wall. Want the slap shot setup. It got blocked before it ever hit Milic. Now Shalov will get this one to Urich. Stanislav Svozil makes the pass across, and Yuri Kulik has it. Kulik in the circles will shoot one, and this one goes wide before the written Milic. Might have bounced off the right glove, but I don't think so. As this goes back between Stanislav Stolzel. Offside was Czechia, so they couldn't go ahead and pick this puck up, and Sohanik will touch it with the goal stick. The Czechian power play is effectively going to be over. They got their changes. They're going to try to rush this down quickly, as Sapovalov will get the clear with the help of Barabanek. And now Canada will get it. Long outstretched pass. Here's a chance for Canada off the toe drag, and that got blocked before it ever hit Sohanik. It might have went off the goal stick. A pass got centered out and picked up by Czechia. So Czechia now maybe dodged a potential breakaway bullet. Pretty close. David Moravec will make the pass as this gets put in across the red line one more time. I felt like I've said that 30 times in this period, but that's all Czechia has been able to do. Joshua Waugh gets this sent in deep across the wall. Czechia will find it. Clarke trying to get on the forecheck. Brandt Clarke, the defense, is feeling a little confident as this goes back inside. Thomas Sohanik will hold on to the right side post. Czechia try to break out across the red line. They do, and now they're offsides. So discombobulated is all you can say here for Czechia. Canada's got that vice grip held in tight. They're not allowing time and space, and even when Czechia did have some space on the power play side, they couldn't get anything organized as we get a minute 29 left to go in the second period. So for Grayson on the YouTube side, I know he said this in the first period. He said, I bet Czech Republic plus 2.5 goals. I'm hoping for a competitive game. You're right at the marker, my friend. And if the way that this continues to go, if the third period continues to be sleepy, you might end up getting that bet. Unless there's going to be an empty net pool that could be your undoing. That's the only thing I could see at this point, unless the third period drastically changes. Here's an entry for Bedard toward the right wing side. He tried to center out a pass in the middle of the slot. Sohanik fights it off with the knob of the stick. And a crease violation against Joshua Waugh is going to be called. And let's see if what this is actually going to be as far as a crease violation is involved. Is that going to be an automatic penalty? Is that going to be a neutral zone draw? I'm going to go ahead and tell you that once I actually see it myself. I think it's just going to be a neutral zone draw. So that's all it is. A minute 3 left to go in the second. 22 shots for Canada. They got a 2-0 lead. 2-0 lead, nothing for Czechia. 13 shots. Kulik will get this right off the neutral zone draw. He's just going to fire it right on, and at least Czechia actually gets something on the shot board. It's been a while. Long wrist shot, and another one from the D side from Moravec. This one gets stopped by Milic. That was the easy one. He saw it all the way. No traffic in front. 51 seconds left to go in the second frame. So we got about 51 seconds left to go here, Owen, on that side of it. In this game, I will say this. This has not been the most exciting game that I've ever done, and this is a gold medal game. I didn't expect it to be so sleepy at this side, but again, I think the Canadian fans are going to like this because at least I can like it too in the sense of not having to yell so much. I can save the voice. This has been one of those type of games. It's been a defensive battle. Kind of what I expected the bronze medal game to be, but it didn't end up being that way. So now, picked up by Czechia. They got 30 seconds left to work with in this second. Moravec gets it knocked away from him. Del Mastro tries to find it toward the right side wall. As this is picked up by Shapovalov, the first line here for Czechia. Put it back to the D. Looking for a deflection. That was one of the forwards out front that was trying to get a piece of it for Milic, but the pass went too far. And now in behind the wall, Milic holding on the left post. Czechia has got opportunity, but they got 3 seconds to shoot. They got to fire it quick. Off the knob of the stick of Milic. Rebound, going to run out of time before the slap shot. And that ends the second period. Canada gets one more, courtesy of a Shane Wright backhand after 2. It's 2-0 for the Canadians.
All right, so we come to the end of the second period. Canada dominating this one. 2-0. Let's go. Let's go.
So far, as far as the story and everything else that's going to be written, I feel like it's going to be pretty damn short as far as what's going on. It's just going to be a couple of the goals, and that's it. I mean, it's just a vice grip dominating effort on defense, and that's pretty much shut down anything Czechia is trying to do. They're not a superpower when it comes to offensive ability anyway, but this has been the last couple games, as I've said throughout the beginning of this broadcast. This is the type of team that Canada was going to turn into. They expected it at the beginning of this tournament. You finally got it when it mattered the most. So I'm just going to get a couple notes in, and then we'll get the scoring reset.
I knew there would be a lot of orders to fill, and I wanted them to ship out fast. That's why I chose ShipStation. ShipStation has managed to order, reduce shipping costs, and win out shipping rate. It's my secret ingredient. ShipStation, the #1 choice of online sellers, and more can buy. Go to ShipStation.com/try and get 2 months free.
You pop them in, you go to bed, and then you go to work. Your teeth wild with smile.
All right, so as we come to the end of the second period, my Leafs are losing to the Kraken.
Kraken are a really good team, so you got to be very careful with that. Toronto has been one of the hottest teams in the league for a stretch of a few weeks. I think they might lose the last couple. I know New Jersey was in a 2-7-2 kind of rut before they smoked the Red Wings the other day. So ebbs and flows, but I think Toronto definitely feels good about where they are in the Atlantic.
Well, Shane, how's that for a birthday present? A hard-working goal. Will that be one to remember?
Yeah, it's a good score. Anytime you can contribute offensively in a big game like this, it always feels good. And it's helping team out with winning the game. That's a big thing for sure.
You get a sense of the environment like right now, playing in front of those fans and being up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, that crowd was incredible. There's not much like it. It's probably one of the best, if not the best crowd I've ever had a chance to play in front of. The energy was incredible, and really appreciate it for this on.
What will it take for your group to finish off this game and have a gold medal?
Yeah, we got to play smart. We got to make sure we manage the puck. That's the biggest thing. And let us just keep puck simple. Just get pucks down low, driving out that low, get pucks in the middle. Just better getting this. That's what we do. That's the thing. Thank you.
That's the oldest cliche in hockey, but that's exactly what Canada's doing in this period and why they're up 2-0. Here's Cheryl Pounder, Jeff O'Neill, and Bob McKenzie. Before this tournament started, it wasn't all about Bedard. Bedard and Wright were the most talked about players coming in. Wright had that tough year where he followed in the draft, hadn't gotten played much in Seattle, and so gets another opportunity at the World Juniors that he was denied last Christmas. I think we'd agree he had a solid tournament, but not spectacular. But lacked that moment, that defining moment. He has it now.
He certainly does. I mean, the captain clutch all day today for him. And his 19th birthday finds a way to deliver at this critical time. And it comes off a hard-working play. So there's a lot of question on 5-on-5, but he doesn't have a goal until this moment of great play by Gaucher on the Milwaukee's left foot. Just a moment to look at his body position. Then to go outside in and the strength on the back end.
All right, so the second period reset after the first goal. That was a Dylan Guenther power play goal from Brandt, Clarke, and Brennan Othmann. I want to make sure that, again, that was power play, so I make sure I mark that correctly in my box score. So at the end of 2, it's 2-0 for Canada. It was Shane Wright from Guenther and Othmann. So Guenther and Othmann pick up 2 points. Shane Wright gets his first of this game at 4:35 in the second. It was a great individual effort by Shane Wright as he toe dragged around defenseman Stanislav Svozil, and honestly, he rooped a vicious backhand with power and accuracy that went over the right shoulder and underneath the bar to make it 2-0. 22-16 on shots on goal, and Czechia was completely smothered on defense. There was nothing to write home about, really, in that entire second period. There honestly really wasn't much to write home about in the first period in this game. If it wasn't for a power play for David Urich as he got busted for holding in the first, this could be a 1-0 game with the Shane Wright individual play. And we could be sleepwalking through the first two periods because that's what it kind of feels like between both of these teams. So, but you could sleepwalk through a 2-0 and feel pretty good. That game yesterday, even though it ended up being 6-2, was a lot closer with a couple of those goals that were called back. I talked about it with Cooper Hopkins when we were in on the broadcast, whether or not either one of those should have been called back, but IIHF rules are IIHF rules. And it was one of those situations where U.S. came out, they had the first couple goals, they made Canada work for it. Czechia is not doing so right now the very next day. So unless something drastic happens in this third period, I can't foresee a situation where Canada walks away with other than a gold medal. Maybe they'll get an empty netter to make it 3-0. They really don't have to press too much, and they're defensively, they don't have to do too much because Czechia can't really get much going. It's not that Canada's running much of a trap. It's just Czechia at some points can't get out of their own way, but there has been some good active stick checks there from Clarke and Mastro and Hinds. They've done what they needed to do, but Czechia has certainly done themselves no favor when they've gotten the puck in the zone. That's just the way that I see it right now. And again, we're about 20 minutes away from the result that everybody expected in this tournament. It's been rocky at some points for Canada. You had the preliminary, you had the game against Slovakia with the Connor Bedard heroics, but at the end of it all, on this final day, Canada is going to be getting that rightful gold around their neck, possibly within this next 20 minutes, because they've played their best two games of the tournament when it mattered the most. So now we can finally give you a little bit of a scoring reset. I figured when I started in the first, there'd be a little bit more by the time the second because the World Junior game kicked off a little early. So tied at dose is the Hurricanes and the Preds. A couple goals between the first and second for both. There was Stastny and then Philip Forsberg and then Brady Schaefer, Brett Pesce, and Martin Necas. Martin Necas has been absolutely incredible here for Carolina. He's their leading goal scorer, and he's only a second-year player right now. Matthias Ekholm tied it at 2 with Juuso Parssinen at 2:47, and the latest goal just updated. It was Jordan Staal making a 3-2 lead for Carolina. Jordan Martin covered the game on the Tuesday side the other day between the Rangers and the Hurricanes, where there was 5 5-hole goals scored in between Peter Kochetkov and Igor Shesterkin, when the 11-game win streak for Carolina was snapped and the 17-game point streak was snapped, which was a franchise record. 2-1 lead now for Washington Capitals. It was TJ Oshie and Nicholas Aubé-Kubel in the second period for the Caps. Nick Jensen, Dmitry Orlov got an assist. The Aubé-Kubel goal, whether it was just scored or not updated yet, so far is listed as unassisted. Johnny Gaudreau was the lone goal scorer for the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's a 3-0 lead now for the Blue Shirts. Chris Kreider scored shorthanded. Braden Schneider from Artemi Panarin and Vitaly Kravtsov, and Philip Hedl from Ryan Lindgren, the latest at 13:27. The last two goals between Schneider and Hedl were about a minute apart, as the Rangers are now up 3-0. They've taken the third spot in the Metro. Montreal is finally starting to fall out of it in the Eastern Conference. It was credit to Martin Saint-Louis, but if they lose, they're going to fall to 15-21-3 on the season. That's going to effectively get you out of the race, especially in the Eastern Conference where it's very, very tight, so you can't afford to lose points. Devils have come back in the second period to score 2. Jack Hughes with a pair. His 24th of the season right now after the 2 goals. The first one was assisted by Damon Severson and Eric Halla. Jordan Kyrou from Pavel Buchnevich, and Robert Thomas was the lone goal for St. Louis. In first, St. Louis loses, they'll be in the NHL 500, 18-3. New Jersey would get back-to-back wins and back-to-back days. They would be 25-11-3 should they hold on with a period left to go. Flyers and Coyotes in the John Tortorella game. It is a 4-2 lead for Philadelphia. Philadelphia is 14-17-7. Coyotes 13-18-5. I think the Coyotes actually would probably be pretty happy considering where they're at, considering the team that they have. Everybody projected them to be much worse than they are. We know where they're going to be in the standings. We expected this. They're playing their games at Mullet Arena at Arizona State University. However, the fact that they make teams consistently try to work for their wins all the time, you can ask that the Boston Bruins, when they lost in the overtime game, or the Toronto Maple Leafs, lost their last 4 games against Arizona in a calendar year. But it is one of those situations. Coyotes are tough to play against. Hell, they beat the Red Wings in an overtime game, and they're on the side of it. So can't take them for granted. It's a 3-1 lead for the Seattle Kraken. Eli Tollivan on the power play from Vince Dunn, Jared McCann. Vince Dunn with the goals. He's got a goal and assist and a goal and 2 assists because Jared McCann had the latest from 1350. John Tavares from Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews was the power play goal for the Leafs. That's his 16th of the season. Marner has 30 apples and Austin Matthews has 26. What's left in the offseason for Toronto is maybe giving Austin Matthews a $10 million plus payday, and I don't see how.
I don't think he's leaving.
Yeah, I don't see any other way you don't make that happen. You can say what you want about Kyle Dubas. I've said this many times with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I thought he's done an excellent job putting the team together. When you have all that pressure on the world on them every single game, every single year, every single day when they're in the news cycle. When it happened last year, they lost a 7-game series to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I understand the first round woes. Can't really build a much better team than that. I expect Toronto to be there at the very end of it, and I do think this will be the year they win around. And once they win around, if they get all the way through, I think once they win around, they'll probably lift the cup. Team's too good to not have one. Team's too good not to have one, and that core is going to be staying together. That's just me.
I hope we lift the cup this year. We need it.
I think there would be, even for American fans like myself, and again, now that the Red Wings are in the Atlantic over the last few years from being in the West from a lot of time when I was a kid, I don't think there is a team that I want to root for more than the Maple Leafs as far as getting that stigma off their back, because again, that team is way too good. In the sense of what we got in the late games, and what I'll probably be watching is I'll type up the story, get the broadcast together. Islanders, Oilers at 9, Avalanche, Canucks at 10. I'll probably be checking out Bruins and Golden Knights, Penguins and Golden Knights at 10, and Bruins and Kings at 10:30. They're flipping back and forth on that. Pittsburgh's lost a few games in a row here. And the Golden Knights, I believe, have a 7 or 8 game home stand at the Fortress. They're 11-9 at home on the season. Those numbers have got to get a lot better if they want to stay where they are in the Pacific.
All right, we got the third period underway.
So we still have another commercial break, so I'll just put this to you quickly on the Twitter Spaces side, or if anyone's still following along on the YouTube side. I haven't had as much foot traffic as we did over the summer side of it, because I'm assuming everybody's just thinking, here's what Grayson says, have the Czechs shown any signs of life? Grayson, no. There hasn't been much going on that side of it. Anytime they get the puck into the neutral zone, it's a dump and chase. And when they do have signs on the offensive zone, it's a quick shot, 1T from the D-to-D side, and the shots get blocked by Canada. So there's not been much to talk about. And hell, if it wasn't for a couple of opportunities on a power play for Guenther or Shane right off of an individual backhand, there's not been much to talk about for Canada offensively either. This has been a defensive battle so far with a 2-0 lead for Canada. So on the NHL side, we'll take a quick look at the Pacific for my broadcast partner that will sometimes walk in and out. I know we do a lot of Calgary Flame games together with Cooper Hopkins. Calgary's still holding on that first wildcard spot in the West with Edmonton, so the Battle of Alberta is still alive and well. Colorado's still nursing a ton of injuries, although they have 3 games in hand. They are 41 points. 42 is the second wildcard spot, so you'd expect Colorado to be right where they're supposed to be, especially when they get healthy. Vegas Golden Knights, top of the Pacific with 54 points, with an 11-9 home record, 15-3-2 on the road. So that tells you how good they are on the road. Seattle Kraken are 44 points. They're holding on to the third spot, and they're nursing that one very close.
I'd be shocked if the Seattle Kraken don't make the playoffs.
So wouldn't that be something? Owen, in the sense of the first year for the Vegas Golden Knights and the second year for the Seattle Kraken, these expansion franchises have done pretty damn well. Wild card in the East sounds like this right now. Washington and the New York Islanders, Metro abound. The Buffalo Sabres have been really good over the last, I would say, 10 games. They were 7-3 out of their last 10. Tage Thompson might be the one goal scorer that nobody talks about. Might be one of the best ones in the league. Has a ton of points. I think he's got about 26 goals and 23 assists, something like that. I'll have to put them on my radar as far as going forward. When you think about the rebuild process for Jack Eichel, they've kind of moved on pretty well. You got Alex Tuch, you got Tage Thompson, you got some of these other pieces in there. I think Buffalo might actually be on the up and up. I haven't said that in a long time.
Alrighty. Come on, Canada, time to steal this. Just steal this, Canada.
So the last time Canada has won back-to-back World Juniors was 2009. They're 20 minutes away from doing so right now as this gets sent down the ice. And this is going to be a icing against Canada. So an offensive zone draw coming here. So for Dennis Williams and head coach for Team Canada, I think you got to feel pretty comfortable about where you're at. It's all about the situation of what can we see from Czechia in this third period. Canada doesn't need to change much right now. I would say they hadn't need to change much since the second period or the first period when they scored the first goal. If Czechia cannot make the adjustment, get in the offensive zone, this is going to be a game where the clock is going to bleed quickly. It's felt slow because there hasn't been a lot to do as far as a broadcasting perspective, but we'll see what ends up happening. Shot gets tipped up out of the air, and this is picked up now by Canada off the backhand. He's trying to get gloved down by Spacek, and now picked up across the red line. Canada, in their own end, they have the white shirt and the black pants. They're going to be attacking left to right. Here's a chance off the short side shot that was answered by Suhanik. And now Shapovalov will try to flip this one ahead for Czechia, and it gets turned over again as this goes to Joshua Waugh. And that was a wicked forehand shot, and that was answered the glove hand by Suhanik toward the right post as we get a stoppage with 19:11 left to go in the third. So Shane Wright, before the Joshua Waugh shot, he was the one that also tried to shoot it short side. And again, I can say this in all honesty, this has only been, I think, the fourth broadcast that I've had of the World Juniors, because we had a couple quarterfinals and then the semifinal and gold medal game. This has been the best that Shane Wright has looked. So turning 19 and having a birthday day, that seems to do well for him right now. Gold medal is going to keep you hungry. As you're a Czech, we'll get this pass across, but good defense by Stankoven to come all the way back with the help of Joshua Waugh. Try to cancel this off across the right side wall. So Grayson, you're still going to be sweating that plus 2.5. You're right at the half right now. Is it still 2-0 for Canada? We'll see if there's going to be any sort of signs of life. And again, this has been one of those situations where I can definitely save the pipes. This is picked up now. And between the circles, Czechia with Gabriel Sturridge tried to fire one on, but it got canceled off by a couple of sticks. Now, once we're on the right wall, try to go D to D. This gets picked up by Czechia, and they try to clear it down deep, but they can't get it. Connor Bedard plays this off the L2 back skate, holds it in between the circles, tries to shoot, gets picked up now. Bedard will fake the slapper, go in between the circles, cross pass, good, stop by Sahanic with the right pad as Dean was on the doorstep, and that was his best save of the game right now, and it was actually warranted. So this is picked up now toward the right side wall. That would have been the one that was probably going to end it at this point, but let's be honest, you might already be at that deficit if you're behind 2-0. Jacob Coase will get this now toward the right side dot. Picked up across the red line now by Canada, but good job by Czechia to come back up and get a stick on it. Sturridge tries to get back on the forecheck side and brush it away and make life difficult. Zack Ostapchuk will get this one down the ice, but Canada has iced it again. 17:36 left to go in the third. So it was another save toward the right side post. Bedard was holding on between the right circles. He was patient. He made a good pass right toward Dean, but Dean couldn't lift it. It was an outstretched right pad of Thomas Sahanic as he kept it ice level on the ground, and he couldn't get lifted there by Dean. Otherwise, that could have been 3-0 for Canada. So 17:36 left to go in this third. It's going to be a defensive zone face-off win for Canada. They've been really good in between the dot. Czechia able to get back in the offensive zone as it could get it out across the red line. It's loose in front of Milic, but the shot goes way wide off the secondary rebound attempt, and then the glove hand that was being held down just kept it inside the blue line. Ravic's going to have to peel all the way back, though. David Urich has it. Urich will get this ahead to Sapovalo. He's going to make the drop pass. That was a wicked 1T, but that went toward the right side of the bar and wide. As Czechia, when they've had some shots, even though they've had to be quick on some of them, they've not been accurate either. There's not been an offensive game to write home about at all. With 16:45 left to go in the third. Shots are 25-18, but that seems a little high on that side, to be honest with everyone. Svozil will pick it up behind his own net. He's going to immediately turn it over. Sahanic almost got handcuffed, but this goes now to Ethan Del Mastro with the help of Hinds. Now Schaefer has it. Third line side out there right now for Dennis Williams' squad as this goes back to the second line with Ethan Del Mastro on defense. Schaefer going to fire one, and this is where Sahanic can find it all the way on the left post as we get a little bit of pushing and shoving. You might expect this from Czechia because nothing else is really working right now, but if you're Canada, I would kind of push away from all of the pushing and shoving at this point. Just concentrate on the task at hand, either walking down this 2-0 or getting one more goal and finishing it off completely. That's where we are right now. So, yep, I think that's all that is needed right now. Owen on that side. 16:23 left to go in this third. It is a very pro-Canadian Halifax crowd right now. Again, as you would expect, there probably is a couple Czechia fans, and also there was a couple of United States fans, although I'm sure a lot of them are parents of some of the other teams in the first game on that side. But still fun to see all of the signs, fun to see a full crowd because you don't always see that in these NHL games, but this is a completely different patriotic type of event. And for the World Juniors, this is where Canada expects to dominate, and they are 15:55 from getting a gold medal around their necks. Canada able to get the steal as the shot gets deflected off of one of the Czechian defenders. That was Urich. As that one got brushed off of his leg. Ostapchuk will get this one down deep. David Urich will collect. Urich going to take his time in behind the cage of Tomas Sahanic. They're going to let their forwards completely take their change. And now he accidentally almost overskates it and thought about it again. So Czechia is still killing time on their own end. Joshua Waugh is going to have a little chat with them as Czechia is finally going to get decided to go right to left across the timeline. A clearing attempt goes wide of the stick of Milic, and then the shot goes way wide toward the right side of the dot. This is kept in D to D, and another long opportunity for a shot gets blocked. Again, Czechia, they're making no bones about it. They're going to leave all of their shots from the blue line. They are not working to get in the dirty areas right now. And in some of this situation in the third, I can say this in all honesty, Canada is giving them some space in the middle of the ice, and I just don't think Czechia wants to take it, or they don't feel confident to do so right now. 35 goals in the single WJC tournament was Czechia in these games, but you're not going to see that right now against Canada. You just don't have that feel during this broadcast. 15:09 left to go in the third. Neutral zone draw upcoming. Shapovalov can't win it here for Czechia. Canada will get this across the red line, but it's a neutral zone battle. It's won there momentarily by Czechia, and now we'll see if they can actually do something and go right to left across. They're going to slap shot it around the embankment as it goes across the inboards. Kept in nicely there by Jakub Kos. Third line set out there for Radim Rulik, head coach squatter for Czechia. Spot check will spin around as they'll go back toward the D-to-D side. Jurek and spot check there, but nice active stick check by Joshua Waugh. Will knock it away. Long pass from Thomas Johannek, the goaltender, bounced off of the players' bench and back into play. And now this is with Canada. Adam Fantilli makes the pass across, but an offside entry there for Waugh. And we'll do it again. 14:22 left to go in the third.
Consistent run here. Just don't do anything stupid, Canada. You can win this. You don't even have to score, you know.
No, this doesn't feel like the type of game where all the intrigue and craziness that we had over the other night, and even in the earlier game today, there really isn't much to have to do here. You're exactly right there, Owen. I wouldn't change anything on the game plan. So Czechia has it on the left side red line. Jurek with the help of Svozil. They'll put this around the office of Milic. Haven't been there too much. Long shot, and this one gets deflected again before it ever hit Milic. Fantilli tries to clear as this is brushed in through the neutral zone now. Shapovalov was able to keep it there for a moment, but Canada able to brush it away just as quickly. It's been the story throughout this entire game. Joshua Waugh actually tried to be the lone forechecker, and he almost made a problem there for Czechia and behind their own end. But Svozil going to take his time. All these Columbus Blue Jackets products that are out there right now on defense for Czechia, they've just not been able to make anything happen. And a broken twig that was in the middle of the center ice actually stopped Czechia's pass into the offensive zone. That's going to allow Canada to make something happen. So Guenther with the back pass, but he threw it the wrong way in the middle of nobody. And now another dump in by Svozil across the embankment. Picked up across the red line now. Othmann tried to lift it, but he can't get it out. But it doesn't matter. The pass goes all the way back to Jurek. Spot check overskated it. And now Guenther tries to find it. It's a turnover here by Czechia. Joshua Waugh holding off the backhand. He's going to be canceled off by Jurek. Waugh with the help of Zack Ostapchuk. This gets picked up now by Czechia. But again, this is just a lot of skating and window dressing in between the neutral zone and the defensive end. They cannot get in the offensive end right now. This is a half spin by Bedard off the pass as he tried to find Othmann. Stankoven keeps it in. Brandt Clarke. And now here's a chance for Stankoven, leaving it for Waugh. The shot gets blocked out toward the right side of the pin. And now here's Waugh again off the forehand. Instead of getting in between the circles, he's going to dump it down deep toward the left side red line. A pass out in front gets blocked as this gets picked up there momentarily. And now Hinds will get this one wafted in. This goes off the stick of Sahanek. 12 minutes left to go in this third. 27 shots to 18 in favor of Canada. Spot check. He got taken down in behind his own net, but play on, says the referee. I think he kind of just slipped more than anything else as this gets picked up now by Hinds. Hinds trying to get it out of his own end right now. This is near the left side dot. This is the first time at all that Czechia has had it in the offensive zone, but it only lasted about 10 seconds. The attempted clear gets past the blue line, however, and Czechia is going to try to work to get back in the offensive zone, but they immediately turn it over. 11:25 left to go in this third. This has been a stick in the mud kind of game, a quicksand game, and Czechia has fallen into it quickly right now, and they got to find a way to breathe and get out of this. Al's Czech tries to find a way to get into the zone. He did so momentarily, but it gets put all the way down the ice. Well, this goes back to Stanislav Svozil. Svozil will have another check with Sahanek, and the time continues to be killed as Canada's 10:55 away from getting a gold medal. This one gets 10:55. Stevie Y is in the building. That makes me happy. Executive VP and General Manager of the Detroit Red Wings, as he's looking on Team Canada. So I will never not have a smile on my face when I see that man. So it'll make me feel a bit better about doing this broadcast, because I'm gonna have to root for Canada at this point when I see Stevie Y in the building. Make no bones about it. So Czechia and Canada. I did say Czechia was going to be my dark horse to win the tournament. Getting a silver medal is going to be a pretty damn good result nonetheless. But they are just getting choked away of life at this point, and it's 10:45 left to go in the third. Back around. Hinds will get this. No, it's still Mastro. We'll fire one on, and the sharp angle shot goes off the stick of Sahanek toward the left side post. Canada, instead of passing that one right out, they went for a sharp angle shot for Othmann. Now try to fire a slapper as that one gets blocked by Czechia. That's got to be about the 16th block that they've had in this game. And now a shot out in front just bounces in between the posts. And Czechia having trouble trying to get this out of their own end. I think maybe an extra pass across in the slot could have been all she wrote. But now this goes back for Juracek. Sahabi is stuck in toward the left side of the red line now, just trying to pry it loose. We've hit the halfway marker of the final frame. A 2-0 lead for Canada. 30 shots to 18. A 2-on-1 developing out of Fantilli off the forehand. And the rebound just eluded Gauthier. That could have been an opportunity. Now Czechia will finally get a shot on net as they had a rush and caught Canada on a change, but it was just a long one. It was brushed off the pad of Milic. Now this puck is being stuck in toward the left side red line. Czechia just can't find any bearings. We've said that throughout the whole game. And across the red line now, Logan Stankoven will elect to clear this in. Canada's doing exactly what they have to do right now, dumping the puck in deep, killing the time, and playing defense. They're playing this like a playoff game at this point. I like to see that. This hasn't been one of those back and forth, free-flowing games. They know what's at stake. And this is a team in Canada over the last couple games where you wondered if you were ever going to see that in the tournament. Well, you're seeing it now in the last couple games. Sapovalo will try to get it now from behind the office of Milic. Try to play this D to D, but it can't be held in. You're going to have to get back on the source to help out spot check as the lone checker is out there. So it's David Moravec. We'll get this one in between the slot. It's a bad turnover by Czechia, and a shot gets fired. It's stopped by Sahanek with the left pad. Picked up now off the stick. 8:30 left to go in this third. The clock continues to bleed away. Ostapchuk will try to find this now for Canada. They'll go D to D. It's still Mastro. They'll send it in deep. Othmann will find it. David Juracek has to try to pry this puck loose. Canada just continues to keep the puck in the zone. They're not trying to shoot anything offensively just yet. They're just being very patient with the biscuit here as this is picked up near the right side red line. Czechia will finally get some puck possession in across the circles, but a good back check by Adam Fantilli will dump this puck in ever deeper. 7:50 left to go in this third. The crowd is starting to stand, and they're starting to pound the glass a little bit because they're appreciating the Canada offensive effort. And again, when they had it in the offensive zone, they're just taking their time with this puck possession. It's a casual stroll right now, as easy as you like, just walking the dog. Shot across off the bar! And I think it might have bounced in. Juraj Kulik. And that just happened out of nowhere. It was a stretch pass in toward the right side dot. The first shot went off the bar. And Juraj Kulik will get credit for this. There is no offsides. There is nothing else to bat an eye at. And we have a game although I don't know if this is going to stay this way all the way through. So hold on 1 second. Did I just see something that I never saw in my life? Stanislav Svozil, the defenseman, as he had to skate across the middle of the ice into the neutral zone, he played the pass with the back of his skate, and kicked it forward into the offensive zone to create an opportunity to make a pass across to Yuri Kulik for a 1T off the post and in. I hope I said that correctly because I can't believe that myself. So 2-1. 7:20 left to go. I don't think there is much concern, although this game has gotten a little tighter. So Sale and Sopovalov, a shot gets blocked. Czechia keeps this in the zone. Czechia again in the high slot as it goes back to the D now. Couple of shots. They've shot it 3 times. They've all been blocked. Back to the D one more time. Looking for spot check for try number 4. And this one gets cleared down the ice by Canada. So now we're definitely in a situation there, Grayson, where you get back within a goal and a half to the good, and even an empty netter would still put you a half. So Czechia has got the signs of life that you needed just enough for your bet for the 2.5. I think you should be safe at this point, as I'll check in on the YouTube side. So this is a game where there's been a lot of defensive battle all the way across the board. And I don't think anything's going to change that, even though Czechia just scored. I understand that there's still some time left in this game. We got about the 7-minute markers, not 7 minutes, as soon as the TSN ad went away. So Czechia doesn't have to press all too much just now, but in the next 3 minutes, you might start to see that press. We're at 6:45 officially. So in the defensive zone of Canada, Czechia, we'll see if they can gain any momentum from that last goal or whether that was kind of a fluke. Scores! And through the deflection, Jacob Kos ties it at 2. This game has changed quickly. And if I am being completely honest with you, I don't know what to say because Czechia has had nothing within the first 2 periods. Let me take a look at this replay. So a clear, attempted one at that toward the right side of the wall a couple times. It's flubbed, and Thomas Milic, after a shot from number 9, this gets tipped. And Milic was skating the wrong way. He was going to the left, anticipating a rolling puck. He tried to get his skate out at a rolling puck. He missed it completely, and off the deflection, it's 2-2. I would say that's one that Milic should definitely have, even if it's a deflection. And Czechia has made this a game now, 2-2. So maybe the register of the voice is going to go up a little bit more now as we finally had some anticipation here, and I've awoken from my partial slumber that this game has been 2-2. 6:10 left to go in the third. It's Kulik gets a glove down deep. We want the gold chance. We're at Halifax now, and I feel like you weren't thinking about that the last minute and a half. Now it's a 2-2 game. Zellweger gets this one down deep here for Canada. Czechia has finally got some life. Jakob Kos at 13:24. It's tied at dose. Here they are on the right side rush, and that one goes just wide. Picked up across the red line now. Canada trying to find it with Hinds. Here's spot check. Ends the zone here for Czechia. Now across the red line. They'll pin this in deep. Canada. This game has changed quickly. Toward the right side, Stankoven. Kind of knocked away by Juracek. Now toward the left side wall. Czechia finds it, lofts it off the backhand. Canada will collect across the neutral zone. 5:15 left to go in this third. It's going to be 20-minute overtimes until somebody scores. We're going to treat this like a Stanley Cup final, but I think it might be 3-on-3 instead of 5-on-5, as long as they make clarification if we get to OT. I don't believe they're going to have shootouts in this gold medal game, but hopefully TSN will give us the clarifications. I do think it's going to be 3-on-3, however. So 4:45 left to go in this third, and now all of a sudden this game starts to feel like the game in the summer in August, where it was close. Turnover, and Suhanik will swallow that one up as we get a little bit of pushing and shoving. 4:40 left to go in the third. This is gut check time, tied at 2. Come right back.
Do? You do? Go to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
You're my hero.
Saving the day is easy. It's CashNet USA.
When you need money fast, be the hero. Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
So all of a sudden we have a game.
Yes, we do. And even in the situation, I really didn't forecast this. Like I said, I couldn't forecast it in the bronze medal game. If I had a crystal ball, I couldn't do it. So I didn't see any other way. I didn't see anything wrong with what Canada was doing. It was a couple deflections. The second one, Milic probably should have had. Again, it was a slow rolling bouncing puck, very slow rolling bouncing puck. But because of the deflection, Milic went to the left, the puck went right, and the latest goal was a 2-2 that just snuck across the red line. So now this is anybody's contest. So it'll be 3-on-3 overtime until someone scores, no shootout. That's our clarification, and that's what I can say to everyone in the broadcast. If we get to that, we still got 4:40 left to go in regulation. It's a tie game all of a sudden. 2-2 is your score line. 32 shots for the Canadians, 22 shots for the Czechs. It's an offensive zone draw here for Canada. Othmann will take it. Have a chance to pick this up toward the right side. Yuri Kulich lost it. Now Bedard will find it as this gets battled in between Stankoven across the IIHF logo. Canada. Now for Zellweger and Mastro. Let's go Canada chance at Halifax right now. About 4:15 left to go in this third. All of a sudden it is tied. Czechia has had some life with back-to-back goals, a couple of deflections, maybe one that Milic should have had, but can't really blame him because he was spectacular in the game yesterday. Things like this can happen. Now all of a sudden you just kind of figure out what's going to happen in this game plan, who's going to blink. Toward the right side wall, Rasavi with the backhand answered by Milic and held. 3:50 left to go in this third. So a leak out there for Czechia. It was the first time he really had a chance to go ahead and make a peruse off a change and push. They elected to do that. Milic was able to make the backhand save. So we'll see what ends up happening with the rest of it. A little heart check time. I honestly thought in the game for myself between the United States and Sweden, when I caught the 6-6 score and ended up being 8-7, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I think Canadian fans might be feeling the same way right now, the way that this is going. I can breathe a little bit free and easy for myself on that side. I can just enjoy the game. So I kind of feel thankful on that side. So Juracek will put this in across the red line. This will touch the stick of Milic. And now Mastro will play it clean, but it's not out. Juracek shoots it into the screen. We'll get it back. Fired again immediately as this one goes toward the right side wall. So Czechia is sticking with that same game plan. They get it toward the D-line side. They let it go. Try to get traffic in front for tips. They already got 2 of them in this period. 3:20 left to go in the third. Good move ahead by Canada to be able to buy some time. And Zack Ostapchuk, he's certainly been noticeable. Even though he's put on the 4th line, he's been making some things happen. This is picked up by Jakob Coast. He's the latest goal scorer. He's just going to put this in toward the left side boards. We've hit the 3-minute marker of this third period. This will get iced. Canada thought they got there first, but they did not. So exactly at 3 minutes, Canada cannot change their forwards. And it's an offensive zone draw coming for the Czechs. So let me just give you as we get a draw. A quick scoring reset. It was Yuri Kulich from Edward Saul and Matthias Sapovalov, and Koss from the 13:24 mark from Thomas Hamura. That's a minute and 4 apart. This is picked up toward the right side dot, and this is going to be stopped by the glove hand of Sahanic. We get a commercial break. We're under the 2-minute marker, 2-2 tie. Yeah, for as much as I said about, and again, you're probably going to end up still getting the gold medal here, Olen. I would think that's the case. I'm still putting the money on Canada. But Canada's best game was against the United States. That was their gold medal game. That's kind of what I thought going in. So that ended up being correct. You're going to have to sweat it out the whole way through. But when they played against the United States, it felt like they saw red. They saw blood.
Because your bank invests for you. I bet it doesn't. Acorn's checking bets. It's banking for the growth money. Acorns.
All right, how much time we got left on the clock?
I believe right now it's sitting about 2:30. Let me see if I can pull this up on the live sports side. It hasn't pulled up just yet. Say about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll be able to tell you officially in about 15 more here. So 2:49. So 2:49 officially left to go in this third period. It's 2 unanswered goals by Czechia in a minute 4 apart that have made this a 2-2 game. It didn't ever look like it was going to get to this point. It's been a very sleepy broadcast up until this third period. And now we'll see what happens. It's Owen Zellweger, the Del Mastro. It's the first line side out there for Dennis Williams' squad. I think it'll be the first line side all the way through, with the exception of maybe another shift here, as it's 2:25 left to go in this third. Czechia try to go right to left in this period. They scored off of a couple deflections. And again, as we got the clarification from TSN, it's going to be a full 20-minute overtime until someone scores. The only difference is going to be 3-on-3 the whole way through. And this will be eerily similar to me into when we did the World Junior Final in August with the COVID postponed tournament, when it went to a overtime for Canada to claim gold. And we'll see what ends up happening here. 2:11 left in this third. 33 shots to 22 in favor of the Canadians. The scoreline is now tied at 2 with 2:11 left. Neutral zone draw upcoming. Couple of stick whacks. Stankoven having some words there with one of the Czechian forwards as far as what they want. And as far as what they want to have to make sure that everyone else draws this puck unfairly, doesn't kind of cheat. So it's Barabonic against Stankoven on the draw. Logan Stankoven, the All-Stars product, able to win it clean, but off with the tie-up, this is going to be picked up by Czechia. They hit the 2-minute marker of this third. It's tied at dose. And Sapovalov will try to get this one down deep as Saul will get to it for Czechia. Everything behind the office in Milic right now, but it's kind of just a puck battle as the ref is waiting toward the left side of the red line. Canada will emerge with this puck off the forehand, but it's very busy. It's like a mall phone booth right now. Gabriel Sturridge fans on the wrist shot. And this goes toward the right side dot. It's Connor Bedard. He's canceled off the puck, but only slightly, as this goes around the inboards. Canada trying to keep this in the offensive end, but they cannot. Joshua Waugh is going to peel back as this goes back now to Owen Zellweger. Zellweger will gain the red line and dump it in here for Canada. $1:10 left to go in this third. Picked up now off the glove hand by Bedard as he knocks it down and shoots a long wrister as it's along the right side of the wall. Czechia, Marcel has it now, but he gets lifted off the stick and picked up now, Canada. This will pick up by Stanislav Svozil now as Czechia has to just dump this down. Almost overskated it near the players' bench. 45 seconds left to go in this third. It's going to be an icing against Canada, so they cannot change 45 seconds left to go in this third. So what's your predictions here, Owen, as far as the next goal scorer? Let's say it goes to OT. You're going to go with Connor Bedard? I am going to go, if Canada wins this one, I'm going to go with the birthday boy. I think he's played his best game of the tournament here right now. I'm going to go with Shane Wright. For Czechia, if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with David Jurek, the defenseman, if we get to that point. But it's 30 seconds left to go. As now it's in the third. It's on the right wing side. Owen Zellweger. It's loose out in front. It was stopped by Milic with the right pad for the wrist shot by Sapovalev. And now spot check. Czechia has been in this situation before. It's Edward Sal. He's trying to make a pass across. Milic is down. It doesn't cross the red line. It gets cleared down. Oh my goodness, that was close. I was just going to say they've been in this situation before the other day against Sweden, and Thomas Milic just saved the game. We're going to OT.
Why, Canada? Why? So easy.
It's back-to-back WJCs now. We can say this officially, that Canada has a chance to win the gold medal, but they're going to have to do so in overtime. So this isn't going to be a long break, unless they are going to do a long break here for this side of it.
I hope not.
I might just go ahead and use the restroom really quickly while we go into a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
I gotta be out of here by 10.
I will be right back.
So at the break here, Canada and the Czech Republic, we're heading to overtime. Oh boy. He's got 5-1 to the Kraken too with So most of this game has been a pathetic sleeper until mid to late third period, but the Czechs absolutely busted this game open. I mean, the Czechs, they found the rhythm and they capitalized. And Canada couldn't keep up, I guess. Considering they were playing with an injured goalie, too. It's a bunch of nonsense in my eyes. A bunch of nonsense. I don't know how. It should be 2-1 or 2-0 right now, but it's 2-2 and we're going to overtime, and that's the situation we're in. Why do you do this to us? Why do you do this to us? Why do you do this to us, Canada?
The first time you connected your website and your store was also the first time you realized we can do anything.
All right.
Now you double your sales from one place.
And we're on to commercial break.
Forward for every small business first.
Poshmark is the perfect size.
Disappear.
All right, I am back. We are in the midst of a commercial break here. I will do my best to try to get your box score updated for the story and for myself before we go into this OT. I don't think I'm going to have time, though.
I'm going to try and make trucks.
Yeah, we've never had a gold medal game end like that after the guys have gone on the ice waiting for overtime. But Cheryl Pounder, Jeff O'Neill, and Bob McKenzie, a Canadian
team up 2-0. The city and country ready for a celebration. 7 minutes, 50 seconds left. What happened?
I set up in the second game, play aggressive, play for the third, and then and they completely deviated from that and got away from it. They were just way low the puck. And on both goals, I'm talking about just the margin of error is so close. And you come down to simple things. Two defensemen couldn't get the puck out. One was on the back of the net, and they were lazy clears that both ended up in the back of the net. And with 27 seconds left, again.
Every Canadian thought we'd be celebrating our
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that side. It was a crazy turnaround. But maybe because I said the same thing, maybe the thought of just, I wouldn't say being passive, but making sure he didn't make any mistakes, maybe that was the wrong decision in hindsight. It's easy to say that with 4 eyes and 20/20 hindsight, but still, I did not expect this situation at all. So I think we are, for the record, getting a full intermission because I see 11:38 on the score clock. So this will give me time to get the goals and everything else typed in and give you your reset.
So alas, here we go. Overtime. I'm going to run the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Number 9 comes right down and seals the wall on Brennan Othmann. Keeps the puck in, gets it down low. Now they've got a chance to get it out. Again, a poor clearing attempt by Clarke. And then Hammer with the shot from the point, puts it through, and it's tipped by Haas. And that's all she wrote, 2-2.
All the Canadians were tracking the puck, so they were on one side of the ice, and they thought the puck was going to come back down, looked up down. Mastro came below the goal line and then recognized Haas was open in that slot area. So you can't be puck focused. You got to find a way to where everyone is on the ice.
When I say puck, I'm going to say I don't know how comfortable the checks are. Obviously, they want to win the gold medal, but they seem looser. Nobody expected them. Maybe outside shot in the middle coming in, and here they are, all the pressure on Canada for goal.
They're patient is what they are. They don't panic when they're down, but it's uncomfortable to be down 2-0 because there's no panic in their game. One of the things I've noticed over the course of this game, we mentioned Allan, the Houston Ranger defenseman, getting an assist on that play. More events. That is normally a third pair for them. Alex Czech, a depth defenseman, number 7. Those guys are getting way more ice time tonight. They had to back off Juracek, they had to back off Swazzle, T.H.F. and Spotter. All those top 4 defensemen, they're doing a lot more mixing and matching. A lot of the pairs are going out the window, but they reacted very well to play all 7 defensemen on the back-to-back.
And so we end up playing 3-on-3 overtime, which is exactly where the Czechs were. Somewhat similar to the semifinals, not exactly the same, but the Swedes stopped playing a little bit late in the third period, trying to not lose instead of win. They score with 35 seconds left to tie it. They score in overtime to win it. 3-on-3, unlimited time. The shootout is gone from the World Juniors, so they'll play 3-on-3 in 20-minute periods. We don't think it'll last 20 minutes. Your expertise is an advantage for Canada.
All right.
You're going to see what kind of Bedard's got in the tank. He took some long shifts.
Back from commercial break. Canada, 2-all, Czech. You get put it. Going to overtime somehow.
It's going to be fascinating to watch here.
All right.
Why you got to make this stuff for Canada, I don't know.
4 minutes away, 8 minutes and change. So the drop of the puck in overtime between Canada and Czechia. 2-2 in the gold medal game from Halifax at the 2023 World Juniors.
All right, John, you ready for this OT?
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left to go. I'm just typing up some of my other stuff. I'll give everybody a reset in a second here.
Oh shit, we're playing already?
No, we got about 10 minutes.
They're taking.
They're doing a
I've
full.
got to be out of here by 10 o'clock.
No, it's whatever you got to do. You got to do. They're doing a full intermission here.
That's dumb. What time is this? Hey. They better not take 44.
All right, so your third period reset sounds like this. It was goals from Yuri Kulich and Jakub Kos. Edward Sale, Matthias Sopolev, and Hanamura got the assist. It was a goal at the 12:30 marker to make it 2-1. Kulich got a wrist shot. He's able to score near the right paint off a little bit of a scramble. And at 13:24, it was a minute 4 later. The puck couldn't be cleared by Canada. We noticed that a couple times in this third period, especially where they played a little bit loose with their clears. They wanted to be good about what they wanted to do defensively and nurse that 2-0 lead. They could not, as the Czechs were able to get the puck off of the deflection. And as the puck was rolling right, Milic tried to go post to post, make a power move. He got a skate on it, but he went left. The puck crossed the line and made it 2-2. It was a period that Canada looked, again, shaky on some of these clears. It ended up being 34-25 shots on goal so far. Toward the end of the period, though, within the last 40 seconds, Milic made an incredible save as he was down and out as Czechia was jamming away at the puck. It did not cross the red line. When we ended the third period, it was noted that the referees were out there for a couple extra minutes to make sure that the puck did not cross the red line. It did not on the last stand. And at last, as it is, we go to OT.
Yeah, almost happened in there.
So at least from what we can say, I know the score lines have been a little erratic as far as both of the teams, but the bronze medal game and the gold medal game will both be going to OT, and the World Juniors, no matter what happens, will be finishing with a big-time flourish, as we got about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this intermission.
I do not understand why they're taking so long.
We've had upsets all over the place, and so why not overtime in the gold medal game? It's being the most competitive World Junior Championship I've ever seen. And no matter what happens here, we've seen the reemergence of Czechia hockey, which they were down in the tournament, finished 7-6 almost every year. They make it to the semis in the summer, and now into overtime in the gold medal game with Canada. We're just a couple of minutes away from the drop of the puck. 3-on-3 until it ends in Halifax.
So we'll play 20-minute 3-on-3 overtime periods until they're in the goal.
Yes, sudden death overtime, 3-on-3, 20 minutes. And Grayson, I know, buddy, on the YouTube side, you've been in and out. You've made your money. So it's a good job for you today with Czechia plus 2.5. That is locked in.
Meanwhile, at least they're going to lose their second straight to the Seattle game, right?
It's 5-1. I think that game is pretty much done with 6:10 left from what I see. Now Matty Beniers and Alex Winberg. The only interesting thing for me for Seattle was goaltending has been a big problem. You had Philip Grubauer, he got injured. You had Joey Decord, who had to be called up, and then you had to sign Martin Jones. Martin Jones hasn't always been spectacular, but he's definitely been a part of the Seattle Kraken narrative. He's been pretty good this year for what he could be. So the Caps are going to cruise. 6:26 left. 6-2 right now against the Blue Jackets. Rangers likely do the same with a 3-1 lead with the Canadiens with 5:14 left. Blues and Devils, that's a tight one. It's a 4-3 lead for St. Louis over New Jersey. New Jersey trying to get back-to-back wins. 6-2 lead for the Flyers with under 5 minutes to go over the Coyotes. And we're really just underway between the Islanders and the Oilers scoreless.
Wow, the Celtics are absolutely destroying the Mavericks. 89-65 is number 3.
They need that because they've had some ugly ones where they got blown out by the Thunder, didn't even have Shea Gilgeous and some of these other pieces.
That's how you win games. When you're leading, you gotta keep pressing. You're going to be in your own end, and it's one of the hardest things to do for a defenseman when you're to manage the puck well out of your own end. But bad luck, bad ice, a bad break, and you continue to make plays, win puck battles, and get the puck over the blue line. On both goals against Canada had the puck on their stick. They went up the wall. It was sealed off. They weren't able to get it out, and shortly thereafter, the puck was in the back of their net. That's how you win games. Canada wasn't quite able to do it for the entire third period. So next game, that won't be a problem. They'll go 3-on-3. But we don't play on the board until this game is over.
There with the goal pucks. Connor Bedard does not have a point in this game. The last time he was held goalless, the opening game of the season for the Regina Pats, he would have points in 27 straight. Or really for this game again. So it's 3-on-3.
Oh, the Blues just went up 5-3 on the Devils. That do it? All right, here we go. Overtime and kick underway.
All right, everybody, it is time. It is golden goal, just like it was during the summertime. If Canada scores this, they get the gold. If Czechia scores this, they get the gold. It's overtime, 3-on-3. We're going to stay that way until we get a goal. No shootout. Connor Bedard right off the draw now. And we'll see. I would imagine, I can say this in all honesty, a 3-on-3 has to be the advantage of the Canadians, especially Connor Bedard with all that space. Got it now. In between the circles and fires. And right into the catching glove of Suhanik as he holds. 1941 left to go in this OT. So time and space for the 17-year-old that is breaking all sorts of records. And again, he is eligible for 2 more World Juniors if he chooses to. That is what they said on the TSN side. So that's a very scary thought. He could break all sorts of records, just like the one that he's already broken of Jordan Eberle, who plays for the Seattle Kraken with the most goals of all time, most points. So Stankoven, try to get the draw here for Canada. Next goal wins. As this goes to Zellweger now. Stankoven will collect. Canada going to take their time and reset. Stankoven going to give this back to Connor Bedard. Bedard down the right wing side looking for the half-toe drag. Now he's going to go to the backhand. Into the middle of the slot. Couple extra moves. Can't get around his man. Good active stick check there by Sposel just to stay in front. That's all you can do with a kid this talented, that much speed. Stankoven going to fire one just wide of the left post. And this goes back down to Bedard. He's going to take a couple chop steps out. A little casual here for Connor Bedard, but he wants to get that complete edge down the left wing wall. Passes it back. It's turned over, though. And now here comes Czechia off the backhand, trying to drive to the net. Canceled off. Couldn't get a shot off. Still with Czechia, though, in the puck possession. I thought Connor Bedard was being a little nonchalant there as this was picked up by Czechia. Lost the stick is Zack. That's going to be a good break for Czechia here. It's a 2-on-2. Kos. Now they have it toward the left side wall. Czechia has the puck possession over the last minute. And now they'll reset across the red line as this goes back to Edward Solet. And now Czechia will try to find their entry right to left. Again, it's 3-on-3. It's golden goal. Whoever gets this, it's done. As it's Czechia and Canada tied at 2. They get the steal. It does Joshua Waugh to the neutral zone, and now he has the stick handle a couple times off the backhand and forehand. We'll get it back. Canada takes their time. It's Dylan Guenther now. Try to leave this one back to Joshua Waugh as he got upended a little bit. Fans want a penalty. They're not going to get one. Play still alive in the middle of the circles. Czechia able to get a steal, but they'll play this back in their own end. There's a live stick on the Czechia defensive zone to the left side red line, so keep that in mind just in case there's any kind of bounce as we're still underway within the action. So Barabanek has it now for Czechia, leaving this alive off the backhand. He's going to gain the zone entry, 1-on-3, try to toe drag in front of a couple other Canadian defenders, and it's a battle for the puck right now. It's 1-on-1, but Czechia going to peel back off, and this is Brandt Clarke. Brandt Clarke with the outstretched pass. This is going to take a bounce, but it's going to be Canada's puck. This is not iced as this goes all the way back in their own end. 17-10 left to go in this overtime. It's continuous until somebody scores, but we're going to stay 3-on-3. Clarke trying to find the entry there. As he got canceled off the puck as this is picked up by Canada. In between the circles, Shapovalov trying to win the race here for Czechia. And now Canada will go ahead and take some changes. Zellweger and Hinds, they're going to be out there right now. Czechia, it's 1-on-2. David Spacek going to need some reinforcements. He'll find something toward the blue line side. Czechia, patient. Spacek lost the handle, and now they'll go back into the neutral zone. Very, very protective right now on this 3-on-3. No crazy rushes just yet as Gabriel Sturridge lost the puck. He got canceled off by Canada on that side. Shane Wright was in his face. Now a back pass. Fantilli tried to make a toe drag move off a 1-on-1. He got canceled off at the last moment. Here's an entry here. Kulich fires. Milic saves it with the stick handle. And now here's an opportunity for Canada. They could have something here off the 1-on-1. Dylan Guenther, he got canceled off the 1-on-1 with a good poke check ahead by Skozol. And now Shalev will get this one here for Czechia. 15:50 left to go. Skozol, quick back pass to Shalev, and this gets picked up. 1-on-1. It's a race off the back skate, and Kulich will hold. Zellweger trying to stay in front of his man. Picked up by Barabanek, and he's going to go back. So Czechia makes some changes, and so does Canada. 15:30. Logan Stankoven on the ice. Although Canada got to play defense right now, Czechia just taking their time. They're taking their changes. They're working to the neutral zone. Now they go back to the defensive side and look to start again, right to left. 2-on-2 entry. Kos, he shoots one. That one goes wide of the left bar. Jakob Kos tries to get to it now. It's pinched. Canada, bad bounce off the end boards, but a good back check stopped the 2-on-1 cross pass. That was close. And now Kulich lost it. Canada can reset in their own end. If it wasn't for a last-ditch effort on a poke check, it could have been a 2-on-1 open net. But here comes Canada. Off the long shot, Zellweger will shoot it. And Sohanek says no with the goal stick. 14:40 left to go in this overtime. 36 shots to 25 in favor of the Canadians, but we're tied at 2. Sudden death overtime, 3-on-3. And we'll play on until we get a goal. Czechia trying to get in through the IIHF logo. They will. Sturridge tried to make this pass across the embankment, and he could not. Canada, Del Mastro has it, and he will hold. Del Mastro going to take his time. He's going to get a long outstretched pass. It's Joshua Waugh. It bounces up in the air. And now this goes back to Czechia. That was awfully close off the shot block. It almost took a bounce that Sohanek didn't want. And Sapovalev will go ahead and take his change as this goes back to Yuri Tichacek. Czechia in their own end. Looking to break out right now. 13:45 left to go in the OT. Outstretched pass. It's turned over. Canada off the 2-on-1. This could be it. Scores! Canada wins the gold off the 2-on-1 cross pass. Just like it was 6 months ago, it is again under Bedlam on the right wing wall. Canada claims gold. Czechia gets the silver. And this is the exact amount of surprise and intrigue that I was waiting for. It took a little while for it to wake up in this third, but boy, was this game heading into 2023 absolutely spectacular. And that is it. That is all. The Canadians get the gold. Czechia gets the silver. The United States gets the bronze. It's been one hell of a World Juniors 2023 tournament. There is emotion all over the ice for Czechia and some tears that are being shed right now. But all that's left is the crying right now. It's 3-2 final. Canada claims the gold.
And Canada avenging that opening round loss to the Czechs. Let's go.
That was a superb ending to a game that was very, very meticulous, I would say, if I'm being kind, over the first two periods. It's an emphatic ending. It was exactly what I think a lot of you wanted to be able to see. Look, I know it's crushing on the other side if you're Czechia. I felt a little crushed just yesterday myself in the game with the United States having the early lead. But this is exactly why you watch sports and why you tune in for stuff like this. And for anyone, I want to make this point before I close out the broadcast and the recording. For anyone that wants to go ahead and say this is just a tournament for kids, it's just a high-scoring spectacle and an exhibition, no, it is not. You're getting medals around the neck now, and this is exactly what you play for. The high level and skill that we witnessed in this game, that we witnessed over the tournament, was something special, and it's been a lot of fun. So I will be back this weekend side of it. I'm going to take a day off, spend some time with the fiance. I will be back, I think, for the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs on Saturday because I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'll get to watch another one of my teams lose. But it's going to be hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. That's where it always is going to be as far as these game stories with our broadcast. So I will see you guys this weekend. Well, I hope you had fun with that, Owen. I know it kind of made your heart stop a little bit, but if it was going to end, I think it's supposed to end that way. That was spectacular.
Yeah, it ended the right way, man. I'm pumped up now. This is a perfect way to lead into my late night game of poker. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a much better way to end it than the 2-0 sleepy game that we got for the most part of it. I understand you would have been happy regardless, but this is the ending that I think a lot of us were waiting for. That's a perfect way to cap off the tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm going to close out the YouTube stream. I'm going to close out the Twitter Spaces. I'll see you guys this weekend. Peace, everybody. Thank you, Owen.
All right, good night, everybody.
Appreciate you guys following along on the YouTube side. It was absolutely spectacular. I know we've had a lot of foot traffic in and out and all of that, but that is exactly what you want to have, and it really feels eerily similar to the tournament that was during the summertime and the COVID pause during August. I had a lot of fun with this WJCs. I hope you guys did too. I will see you this weekend. Peace, everybody.